So, I don't know how long you guys have been watching, but there was a lot of looking at that. So, I don't know how long you guys have been watching, but there was a lot of, is it a bullet hole? Is it a ricochet? So, I don't know. I don't know how long you guys have been watching, but there was a lot of, is it a bullet hole?
Which I
Is it a
don't think
ricochet?
comes from here,
So,
but
I don't
the
know.
amount,
I don't know how long you guys have been watching, but there was a lot of, is it a bullet hole?
which I
Is it a
don't think
ricochet?
comes from here,
So,
but
yeah, I don't
the
know.
amount, maybe the
I
car
don't know
was
how long you guys have been watching,
nose
but
out,
there was
maybe.
a lot of, but the bullet
Because the
hole,
driver's
is it a
side
ricochet?
here,
So,
but
yeah, I don't
the
know.
amount, maybe the
I
car
don't
was
know how long you guys
but it
have
could
been
just be
watching,
nose
but
out,
there's
maybe.
a lot of, but the bullet
Because the
hole,
driver's
is it a
side
ricochet?
here,
So,
but
yeah, I don't
the
know.
amount, maybe the car
I don't
was
know how long you guys
but it
have
could
been
just be
watching,
nose
but
out, maybe.
there's a lot of, but the bullet
Because the
hole,
driver's
is it a
side
ricochet?
here,
So,
but
yeah,
so that's the place where the shots were fired.
It could just be
Nose
down.
out.
Don't know where the officer was
The
injured.
driver's side.
So,
Clearly, the
so
path
that's
was
the
out
place
on
where
the
the
street.
shots were fired.
These cars
Don't know where the officer was
the
injured.
driver's side.
They probably showed up
Clearly,
later.
so that's the only reason I say
that
that
street
because of all
these
this.
cars don't know where the officer was injured.
But
Probably
I still
showed
can't
up
figure out
later.
what
That's
he
the
hit.
only reason I say that street because of all
These
this.
cars
Don't know
If you haven't seen the front of the
was
car,
injured.
the airbags have
I
been
still can't
deployed,
figure out what
and there's damage to the hood and the front bumper. If you haven't seen the front of the car, the airbags.
But also don't know if that came from the interaction or the car was like that before. The only reason I don't think so is because the airbags were deployed. That's the second command post vehicle that showed up, probably because there's going to be a lot of documentation of what was going on here. Actually, I take that back. That was the one that was over here earlier that now has moved. Definitely less media on this side and more neighborhood. Oh, I take that back. The neighborhood's actually grown on this side as well. But a lot of this is media. What's up, Dave? Uh, hour and 15. $10:30 for KCal. Copy all.
What is poppin', y'all? Hit the number one. Make sure you guys can hear me. What's good? Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Every single body. Every single body. Every single one of y'all. There was an ICE involved pew-pewing that happened. Now they're saying that the assailant is okay, or the person that was involved in this in this shooting is okay. But of course, we're still trying to figure out everything right now. This is all breaking news right now as we speak. Okay. But apparently ICE was chasing somebody down, and then there was a crash. The car crashed. The person that they were trying to get crashed their car, and then there was a firefight. No one, apparently they're saying no one got injured, and they were able to detain this particular individual, but now there's a crowd gathering in this particular area. I still don't have all the information yet as far as like where this location is at in Los Angeles. I'm still trying to get all that information. I'm going to let you guys know all about that in just a second. But please do me a favor, okay? I think we need some mood music.
We got 91 viewers. I don't know where I guess they disabled the comments.
Okay, I'm going to mute this for a second, okay? And then we're going to dive down into this, okay? We're going to dive deep into this information. But this is all still going on. So, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to every single person out there. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt. I can't talk today. Above the dirt is always a blessing. Please do me a favor. These are just small things that I'm asking from you guys. So if you could do me a solid, okay? Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe here on my main channel. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Please and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. I got these 2 memberships now, so go check it out. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out pascalmerch.com. Okay? Hold on. I think this is like the 5th cold I'm fighting now. It's unbelievable. It's unfreaking believable. But anyway, let's get into this, shall we? So there was an ICE involved pew-pewing, okay, just so you guys know. We don't know everything yet, but what the news has been saying is that they were chasing down a particular person of interest, for lack of a better term. Their car crashed, and then there was a firefight between ICE and this particular person that they were chasing down. I don't know anything outside of that. I don't know if this particular person of interest was in illegal, or they just assumed that they're in illegal, and then there was a chase. You see what I'm saying? So people don't know what's going on. We don't know fully what's going on. We do know that particular person's okay. Okay, that one person that they were chasing down is okay. But there may be more than just one person involved in this situation as far as who they were chasing down. Like I said, we don't know everything yet. All we know is that there was an exchange of gunfire. And of course, as we get more information, I'll break it to you guys. Okay. But let's take a look. Let's just take a listen to a little bit more of this. And then there's some other clips I have for you guys so we can check those things out as well. But crowds are starting to gather. People are trying to understand what the F is going on. Hopefully that's as far as it goes, but God only knows. God only knows how far this thing is going to go. Hopefully it doesn't get worse, but we will see. Okay. So I'm going to unmute this for a second so we can listen.
Stu, nobody cares about your old Chevy motor. I know. Sorry, man. That's the car that they told him to turn around.
Here's the thing, Jane. Jane, let me get this up here. Here's the thing, Jane. I think a lot of us are concerned about that, but here's the thing. Yeah, LA might be busting out some protests even more. There are already protests going on in LA, but it might get worse. The protests in LA might get even more intense. Like I said, there are protests that are going on in Portland. There are protests going on, some protests that are going on in LA, but now it could skyrocket. It could triple in size.
As soon as I'm done with this shot, I want to look at that fence. No, I don't think this was from this. You know what? Maybe there's no way for us to see it, but maybe he had a car like trying to get out of the driveway. Like maybe they blocked the driveway under the tree. I'm not saying Chris try to get down low so we can see the shot, but if somebody from the ground would let us know, because there is like a group over here, and I don't. I mean, there could be a car. Yeah, we did that, Dave. We did the whole. I'm just going to show you real quick again. Started here. This is where the shots were fired. Went out of the driveway, came out. I already explained it, but it's okay. These cars probably were not here at the time. These are ICE agents, right? And he must have hit something right there, and then, well, now we're on the wrong side, and ended up over here.
And crashed.
We did that shot a couple of times, trying to figure out what he hit. But I know, and I don't mean it like that. It's like, you're going to sit there, you've got stuff to do. I'm just trying to figure out what he hit. I think this showed up after the fact. That showed up like when we were here. But also, whatever that is, if we come back or just keep doing the orbit, whatever that is that's coming out from the car, it's not water. That's oil because it's not going away. It's not drying up. Or maybe it's radiator
fluid.
Right. Well, we don't know if it's a bullet hole. See, there's the damage, right? And there is something on the dash or on the windscreen, but that actually, I'm being serious.
It doesn't
could be like maybe they shot through the window, and that's it. It wasn't from the outside in, but from the inside out. Not saying the suspect was shooting, but the way the angle was. But yeah, there's definitely damage to the windscreen. Definitely damage to the front of the car. And whatever is leaking from the car, like the tire tracks, I think that's oil. But in that same breath, I don't know.
Yeah, they're saying that the guy's okay or the person is okay, but, you never know. See that's interesting. Yeah, what happened here?
Hey, somebody helloing me? The address in front of the BMW. Okay.
So for those of y'all who are just getting here, let me break this down. And I got a couple other clips I'm going to be sharing with you guys here in just a second. Okay. Oh, somebody else is saying that the agents were ambushed. That would be interesting if that's the case. If that's true, that's shocking. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if that's clickbait or not. You never know. That might be the truth. They might have been ambushed. You never know. And that's something I'm also, concerned about, like retaliation. As soon as you know that they're in the area, retaliation ensues, right? The potential of retaliation. Let me just say that. But here it is, guys. What we know so far is that there was a firefight. We don't know what kind of firefight it was. We don't know if it was only one side shooting or if it was both sides shooting. What we do know is that that particular person that they were trying to take, okay, that they were trying to, take down and, detain, from my understanding, that particular person is okay. But that's what they're saying right now. All this information is still developing. Everything is still just, everything's going to come out when as it's breaking. Okay. But apparently these ICE agents went down to this particular residence. And then there was in it, like somebody tried to escape. There was a firefight, a car crashed. That person is okay from what we understand. They have detained that particular person. And now they've secured the area because of this firefight that went down. We don't know if there were other people involved in this shooting, if there were more than just one particular person that was shooting. The reports are saying only one person was involved, but you never know, right? The way that they have this whole thing locked down like this, God only knows. And it looks like it was a big situation. It was a lot more than just, oh, he was in his car, he tried to drive off and crashed his car and you know what I mean? So what we've heard from this Sky helicopter reporter guy is that it looked like there was some sort of altercation, like they were trying to take somebody at their home. I guess somebody jumped in a car, drove off, and while they were driving off, there was an exchange of gunfire. Then that car crashed into like an electric pole or a telephone pole. And then I guess that guy or that person got arrested. But like I said, what we've heard is small in comparison to what it looks like right now. So again, there might be more going on with this. And when I say a firefight, I mean an exchange of bullets, a shooting. I'm just trying to use other words other than just the word shooting. Okay. So, so yeah. And, here's the thing. I can't control everybody that comes in here and talks and puts their thoughts in the chat. All I can ask is for everyone to be peaceful, respectful. You could say what you need to say. All right. But I can't control what people say in the chat. I can only I can only block as many as I can, if they're saying stuff that's out of pocket. But other than that, they have every right to say what they need to say. Don't use curse words. Don't use racial slurs. Don't write in all caps. And keep your comments clean. It's very simple. Okay? But I can't control everybody that comes in. All right? That's just how the world works. Okay? So here it is. Because somebody's saying I need to get my house in order. Shoo. Okay. If it gets out of hand, then, we'll go into, some subscriber chat or something like that. But we don't need to do that right now. So we don't need to do that right now. Everybody wants to know what's going on. So I'm trying to give you guys the updates. Okay. This is absolutely, Shelly. This is absolutely crazy. Okay. This is absolutely cray. Okay. I know you said Carrie, but I think you meant cray. So again, see right here, see where this, where that garage, I guess, is. That's kind of where it all started. And then it drove out into this street. It came out into this street. Somebody jumped in their car. If I have it correct, they jumped in their car and tried to drive down this road. And then they crashed somewhere. Like they crashed into a pole or something of that sort, or hit something. And then the car rolled to this area. Then they were able to detain this particular person. That's what I've heard so far. But like I said, we are going to I'm gonna come back to this, I promise. But like I said, come on. But like I said, all of this is still extremely fresh, and all is still pending as far as the news that we're hearing here. Don't worry, we're going to come back to that live feed, but I want to get some news reports from what people are saying as far as the news out here.
With you some breaking news that we're learning here right now. We're getting two different perspectives here. Let's take you out to this one. This is
Hold on. I want you to hear what she just said.
We do want to share with you some breaking news that we're learning here right now. We're getting two different perspectives here.
Two different perspectives. Very important to hear that. Let's continue. So things are subject to change. Okay.
Let's take you out to this one. This is coming out of California. As we're learning, an investigation is underway into a shooting involving a federal agent during an immigration enforcement operation. This all taking place in Los Angeles County. This happened around 7:20 a.m. in the Willowbrook area. That's according to the sheriff's department. Officials told Fox 11 a DHS task force was conducting an operation in pursuit of a car that ended up crashing. And we can see just moments ago there that what is most likely that car. And when agents approached that car to detain the suspects, shots were fired and the suspect was not hit. So, okay, we're getting a better look here now of that.
You heard that, right? So they say the suspect that they were pursuing got in the car, drove. Now, we don't know if they got rammed by some car, by maybe some ICE vehicle. We don't know if the car veered off from, not trying to speed down the road and also trying to exchange gunfire at the same damn time. We don't know that. All we know is that the car crashed and that particular person is okay. The person that they were pursuing is okay. That's what they're saying. But remember, they said two different perspectives are being set out here. So everything is subject to change, just so you guys know. Now, I know some other places are saying that this from what you guys told me in the chat, other places are saying that that the ICE was ambushed. I haven't heard anything of that sort yet. Okay, not saying that source or that whoever's saying that isn't telling the truth. They might have some insider information that I don't have. Right? They might have some intel. Okay, but for what we know, they were pursuing somebody. That guy got into a car, or that particular person got into a car. There was gunfire. I guess a very short, high-speed chase, and then the car crashed. That particular person was not hurt by bullets. They might be, their bodies might be wrecked right now because of this car. What happened, inside this car? But what they're saying right now is that this particular person has not been hit with a bullet.
That car, as the camera is panning around, this is coming from Sky Fox. We also do have another angle that I'll show you here in just a brief moment, but roads are blocked in the area of Mona Boulevard and 126th Street, and traffic is being diverted as this investigation continues. And here's another look that we do have coming in here to our newsroom as well. Some more information. We do know the shooting involved personnel from U.S. Customs and Border Protection who were conducting a targeted enforcement operation. Following the discharge of weapons, a white sedan was found at the scene with a busted windshield, front end damage, and deployed airbags, suggesting a collision or forced stop took place. While federal involvement has been confirmed, authorities have not yet released the specific details of what led to the shooting or how many rounds were fired. It remains unclear if the suspects were armed or if the damage to the white sedan was a result of the enforcement tactic or an attempted flight. Federal agencies have not yet identified the suspects or the specific nature of the immigration charges they were facing. So what?
Well, you hear that? Now we're hearing from the reports, they're saying they're saying suspects, plural. They're not just saying one suspect, they're saying two. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So here's the thing. I'm going to roll this back because I think this is all information that we need to hear thoroughly. But don't you think that's interesting? Right? They're also not saying whether or not the people that they were pursuing actually had a pew-pew in their hands or not. Here's what sucks about not having cameras, body cam footage on. Remember, they don't have body cam footage. None of these ICE agents have body cam footage. Let me repeat that again to make it abundantly effing clear to every single person that's watching this show right here. These particular ICE agents do not have body cameras at all. Make that abundant, like embed that into your brains. So in other words, they can do whatever the hell they want and they can change the story however they want. I'm not saying that they are doing that right now, but what I wish that they had was body cams so that we can actually have full truth, full transparency, but none of them do. None of them have body cams. So now we just have to take their word for it, right? But they're saying that there's possibly two people now. So they knocked on a door, or they were pursuing a particular person or persons. And then there was a chase. There was gunfire, but they cannot confirm or deny whether or not there was an exchange of gunfire. That is incredibly important information. So what if these guys were just driving down the street? What if these guys were driving down the street and then they just pulled the trigger because they wanted to stop them from driving away? That's possible. But then there's also a possibility that there was an actual exchange of gunfire. Okay, we got to leave that on the table. But that's what's so sad about not having body cam footage, y'all. They can say whatever the hell they want. Sorry, but that's the truth. That's facts, guys. Hear this out. Hear this out one more time. This is all important information.
To our newsroom as well. Some more information. We do know the shooting involved personnel from U.S. Customs and Border Protection who were conducting a targeted enforcement operation. Following the discharge of weapons, a white sedan was found at the scene with a busted windshield, front end damage, and deployed airbags, suggesting a collision or forced stop took place. While federal involvement has been confirmed, authorities have not yet released the specific details of what led to the shooting or how many rounds were fired. It remains unclear if the suspects were armed or if the damage to the white sedan was a result of the enforcement tactic or an attempted flight. Federal agencies have not.
So they don't have everything yet. They don't know everything yet. But here's the other thing. Let me repeat that again. They're now saying, or at least in this perspective, we're hearing that there's possibly two suspects that were involved in this altercation with ICE. And they cannot confirm or deny that there was an exchange of gunfire. But they're saying that the assailants, or the people that were actually trying to, get them, the people that they were trying to get, they're not hurt. They might be hurt from the car crash, but they're not hurt from gunfire. That's important information too. But all of this is subject to change, y'all. All of this is subject to change.
Yet identified the suspects or the specific nature of the immigration charges they were facing. So once again, here's another live look that we do have just coming in. This investigation has been handed over now to federal authorities who will conduct an internal review of the discharge of service weapons. Further details are expected to be released by U.S. Customs and Border Protection or the Department of Homeland Security as the booking process for the suspects is completed. So if you are just tuning in, we're learning this breaking news that this investigation now underway into a shooting involving a federal agent during an immigration enforcement operation. Once again, this all taking place in Los Angeles County. This happened just a bit earlier this morning as we are getting these two live feeds that are coming into our newsroom here.
Okay, let's continue on. I'm going back to that live feed real quick. Okay. Because there's a lot going on. There's a whole lot of shaking going on, baby. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Please do me a favor before I unmute. Please do me a solid, okay? Hit that like button down below. If we can get it to 1K, that would be amazing. Because, this is all breaking news. This is all crazy breaking news. But hit that like button down below. Love to get it to 1K if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Breaking news as we speak. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe. And as you can see, the people are out. The people are out and they're not happy about this situation. So I'm going to unmute this and see what the helicopter's saying, if he's saying anything at all. If not, I'll continue talking over this. So just so you guys know, this is all breaking news. This all just happened this morning. We are hearing two different perspectives, two different stories. And I don't know. I'm going to give you guys a recap in just a second. I thought he unmuted, so the reporter in the helicopter unmuted, so I'm waiting for him to possibly say something, but he might not say anything at all. All right. But Kimberly, I will be giving you guys a recap here in just a second. So crowds are starting to gather around this crime scene because this clearly is a crime scene. It looks like there was, I'm going to mute this really quick. For those of y'all who are just getting here, for those of y'all who are not savvy to what's going on, there was an ICE agent involved shooting that happened in, now we're hearing, Compton, LA. Okay. Oh no. Dude is blocking the car. Don't do that. Don't be doing that, bro. Homie, come on now. Come on now. Hold up. I'm seeing if there's any reports. Don't be blocking the car. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do that. There's enough problems as it is. Whew, my Lord. Okay. And people are angry. So here's the thing. Just so you guys know, here's the breakdown. And of course, you know, for those of y'all, I'm going to try to see if I can just make this a little bit lower in the background. Okay. So here's what's going on. This happened in Compton, LA. All right. There was, I guess, an operation, an ICE operation underway. They were looking into, I guess, obtain or detain, I'm sorry, a particular person. It might have been a person, two people. Then there was some sort of gunfire while the car was trying to get away. From what we're gathering so far, the car crashed. There obviously was an exchange. Well, there was gunfire. They have not confirmed whether or not there was an exchange of gunfire. So the people in the car could have just been trying to drive away with ICE just opening fire on that car. That's a possibility. That's still on the table. Not saying that that's the truth, but that could be what it is, because they have not confirmed whether or not these the two, they're saying suspects. So the two that were trying to get away, they have not confirmed whether or not they were pulling the trigger on ICE as well. That's one thing that's for sure. So two options are on the table. Either there was an exchange of gunfire between the people that they were trying to get and ICE, or ICE opened fire on them. And that's it. Or there's three options. Or the people that were trying to get away pulled the trigger, you know, shot at ICE, and ICE never exchanged the gunfire, which I think option three, the third option, is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Okay. It's either one or the other. One, ICE shot at them, and through the gunfire and I guess the mayhem and the craziness of trying to get away, they lost control of their car, crashed, and that's the BMW that crashed right there. Okay, the four-door, I think it's a two-door. No, I think it's a four-door. Maybe it's a four-door or two-door sedan. Okay, that's down there. Okay, and it's not white; it's silver, from what it looks like to me, silver and black. But anyway, gunfire was exchanged. Or gunfire was, you know, somebody pulled the trigger, but they have not confirmed whether or not ICE is the one that pulled the trigger, or if the people who are trying to run away were pulling the trigger, and that they were just shooting each other at the same time. My thoughts? I think there was an exchange of gunfire. That's what I truly think. But we'll see. This is an absolute mess, y'all. And this is happening in real time. This is breaking right now as we speak. And like I said, there's a lot of people starting to show up, and they're starting to get angry. They're starting to get pissed off. They want answers. They want an explanation of what happened here. Now, again, there are rumors being said that ICE was ambushed. I have yet to hear anything about that so far, but I'm going to look up and see if there's any more information revolving around this. But this is all absolutely crazy, guys. So just give me a second, and I will repeat this, the information here in just a little bit. But this is what we know so far. Soon there will be more. Okay. Yeah, man. Classic. I don't know. That's the problem. You just heard that report, and I may play that report one more time for all y'all, so you guys can hear it one more time. But they said 2 different perspectives is being said right now on the street. 2 different ones. That's never a good sign. That's never a good sign. Just so you know, because you got people saying one thing, you got the streets saying one thing, you got ICE, saying another. That's never a good thing. And this is why I said, this is why it's so important to be having ICE agents with body cams, police officers with body cams, because not everybody.
Aren't you supposed to be in an editorial meeting? How are you talking to me?
Because here's the thing. We can't just trust what the streets are saying. We can't just trust what ICE is saying, what law enforcement is saying. We need those cameras. We need those body cams on. That's why in a way, I wish somebody had an iPhone on recording this situation. You see what I'm saying? These are the moments when cameras all over the place are incredibly important, because people bend the story. People bend the story to their perspective or to their bias. And we've already seen how corrupt police can be with body cams. These guys don't have body cams, period. That's one thing that they're working on right now, just so you know. Like, it looks like we're going to be in another government shutdown at the end of the month, which we learned last night, which I learned last night. And one of the things that they're trying to implement for the Department of Homeland Security, they're trying to have ICE have body cams. That might be one of the issues, one of the big issues that may cause a shutdown with the government in 9 days. Okay? And that's one of the things that the Democrats, at least, are saying. We need body cams on these ICE agents. And no, we don't want to give you guys more money. That's basically what the Democrats are saying. We're not going to give ICE more money. In other words, they're just going to build a bigger army. That's basically what it is, right? A bigger agency, right? But these guys do not wear body cams, period. That is a big problem. Big problem. All right? So let me unmute this, see what's going on, and then I'm going to play that. There's some other news clips I have for you guys.
Oh, the other one you can't see right now, but there's another one on the other side. So I don't know if that's the casing and the bullet. You can kind of see it through the tree there. Or if it was 2 shots fired. And then, like I said earlier, they were looking at that, but I don't think that's a bullet hole, but who am I to say? And this is what I was saying. So if he was facing out, right? So then the driver's side would have been here. And so if he like whips around and then the person shoots from over here, no, because he would have to be shooting at it away from the car. Like the car would have already had to pass for it to, either that or maybe it just ricocheted off the windshield. Who knows?
Crazy. And I think it's crazy that people are so close to the how people are so close to the actual crime scene. I mean, unless that's somebody like an officer, but she doesn't look like she's an officer. She looks like she's, you know, a civilian, but you never know. This is nuts. Nuck and futz, y'all.
I thought that I was double, triple checking. It's not. I thought that was my father-in-law.
What? I think this guy's a comedian. Don't worry, we're going to come back to this. We are definitely coming back to this. Look at that. Let me show you this again. Look at how much media is out there before it goes away. A lot of media is out there. And again, I'd like to know what the hell's going on too. You know what I'm saying? What actually happened here? How did this go down? We're coming back to this though. I promise you that. We just got some other news clips to look at. So I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this up so we can hear what's going on here too. Because yeah, everybody wants to know what the hell's going on. And I do too. So we're going to get down to the bottom of this. Take a look at this. We got another one. That live feed is still going, but we're gonna come back to this. This still has to do with this. So stick around, guys.
Yeah.
Just how scary is this that's taking place in your neighborhood?
I'm not even sure. Not even sure what's going on.
And then, did you guys hear anything this morning?
I did.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. That was me trying to talk to someone that was allowed in a few minutes ago past the yellow tape, and then walking out. He was walking out with his daughter who's going to school right now.
Man, what a time to go to school right now after all this, right?
So we could see, like I mentioned, just more officers kind of just walking into the crime scene or into the area that's been blocked off here. And once again, I see officers, federal agents here on the ground. Some of them still have kind of their weapons out. You see California Highway Patrol kind of at the center of the scene as well. And then sheriff.
What is that for? Do you see this? Do you see this weapon that's on that this dude's carrying right now? Holy cow. That's insane. What do they need that for?
Officers here controlling traffic, but I can tell you that Mona Boulevard remains open. People are driving by, so everything is contained or appears to be contained to this one street, 126th Street here in Compton. We do see one car on the scene that has front end damage and also appears to have been involved in a possible chase. Yes, Philip?
David, let me give you some new information here, according to the Century Station Sheriff. So you're on the scene. They've not talked to you, but I can tell you that according to them, at 7:25 this morning, Border Patrol informed the Sheriff Department they were doing an operation near 126th and Mona. Shortly after that, and it appears that's what the chase involved, but a shooting involving a federal agent did occur. No one was hit by the gunfire. All suspects have been detained and officers accounted for. So
all suspects, like I said, is plural, have been detained, and all officers that were involved are being investigated as well. Okay.
So that is from the Century Sheriff's State.
I'm going to roll that back so you guys can hear that one more time.
Chase involved, but a shooting involving a federal agent did occur. No one was hit by the gunfire. All suspects have been detained and officers accounted for. So that is from the Century Sheriff's Station that a shooting involving a federal agent did occur. No one was hit by the gunfire. All suspects have been detained. All officers accounted for. So
you know what's scary about this as well? Kids live in this neighborhood too. People live in this neighborhood as well, and that there was this wild gunfight happening out here in the middle of the streets, and you got kids that are going, getting ready to go to school. You got people trying to get what I'm saying, go to work, school, etc. All of that going on in this very tiny area I mean, that's scary. Kids getting up, getting ready for school, etc. That's not good, guys. This is not good.
That is.
And what was up with the long gun? The hell was that all about, man? Why did he have like what the hell was what the hell was that? That was some heavy artillery that dude was walking around with. What does he need that for? Real talk. And where is he going with it? Real talk.
Information for you. If you're talking to anybody there, you can pass that along to them so it doesn't appear as if there is a search. And maybe that explains, again, to both of us why everybody is so casual and everything is just seemingly under control right now.
And thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we've been trying to gather information from officers here on the scene, and obviously it's developing as we speak. So I don't know if they have limited information on the ground or they're waiting for someone else to pass that information along. So I'm glad that you were able to share that information here on the scene. Like I mentioned, what's interesting is that it appears all these officers, different agencies are kind of keeping to themselves. We see the federal agents huddled together. We see California Highway Patrol together. And then I see the LA County Sheriff's Office deputies who are on the scene huddled together. So I don't know if that means they're working independently or if they're kind of, if one has a rank or control over the scene, but we do see California Highway Patrol taking pictures of vehicles here on the scene, trying to gather information. We see 2 federal agents walking our way that have tactical gear on. They have their guns, their vest on, their mask on. So of course that draws the attention of residents here in this neighborhood who mentioned to us, at least a few of the people that we've spoken to, that some of them live in fear and have been living in fear because of what they're seeing in and around LA when it comes to federal raids and what we're seeing across the country. They say that there's a lot of immigrant families that live in this community. So of course, seeing agents on the ground this morning, drawing up a lot of fear, especially as a lot of them are walking their kids to school this morning.
Well, David, I mean, here's the thing that just, we can speak a little more because we're streaming and we can talk with each other. It does strike you that the federal agents are carrying their weapons, whereas all of the local agents are just casually walking around. They're talking to people, and there is a different feeling when you see the federal agents walking around than when you see your local agents who very possibly might live right next to you. So that you can understand where the community is getting their emotions from, because the federal agents are carrying themselves remarkably different than the local agents.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Talking when we first arrived, I did notice one person that was here on the scene. I'm assuming they live nearby. They were talking to an LA County Sheriff's deputy, and you could tell it was becoming a heated argument between the two. One of them was excited to see us here. The man talking to the deputy was excited to see us here because he said he wanted attention on what's taking place in his neighborhood. And by us being here, of course, the word was going to get out that there was some kind of federal enforcement raid taking place in their community. But the LA County Sheriff's deputy, I overheard him respond like he didn't want this to escalate into something more, because right now, obviously, it was very early into what was taking place here. So he was trying to calm that man down by trying to talk to him. But right now, it's an ongoing investigation. Things seem to be very controlled here on the scene. People are asking a lot of questions, and hopefully we get a lot more answered. But as you mentioned, Philip, the Sheriff's Department did confirm that there was a shooting that took place, but no one was hit and no one was injured.
Okay. David, thank you. We're going to wrap this up with you for the time being here. This has been our live stream broadcast at 8 a.m. David, thank you very much. Again, at 7:25 this morning, Border Patrol informed the Sheriff's Department they had an operation near 126th and Mona. There was a shooting involving a federal agent. No one was hit by gunfire. All suspects detained and officers accounted for. John Gregory.
Okay. No one hurt, which is always good news. But I want to know what the hell, why did this happen, right? We all want to know that. But let's take a look at what's going on here.
See it from the front of the car. It is pretty heavily damaged and full airbag deployment. And there is some damage to the windshield, which we are suspecting to be possibly a bullet from a weapon. So that's about what we can guess what's going on down here. I mean, you can separate the facts for, like, that's the suspect's vehicle. This is where the incident happened. Those things are fact. But, you know, is it a bullet hole in the windshield? Is it something that ricocheted off of a trash can when the vehicle collided? You know, I can't say. I cannot say for sure from being in the helicopter. Also, window clearly either down or possibly broken in the in the attempt to grab the suspect. So also what's going on right here, you can kind of see the media basically went ahead and set up over here, and the crowd still being respectful of the tape, and the sheriff's department tasked with keeping things peaceful. And again, suspect's vehicle about that far away from the crime scene tape, and still setting up to start doing the documentation of the scene. I'm done.
We're coming back to that. There's some live feed stuff going on that I want to pull up here as well from like TikTokers and all that as well. So let's take a look at what the hell's going on. This is just nuts.
Whose streets? Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Fuck Trump!
Just so you know, this is all happening in real time. This is live right now as we speak too. And I'm going to be hopping around back and forth from that and all that. Okay. Just so you know.
You motherfucker with your face covered, bitch! Your day's coming, motherfucker!
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! ¡La porquería! ¡La migra! ¡La policía! ¡La misma porquería! 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 ¡La misma porquería!
And let me just say this. We still do not know the full scope of what actually happened here. That's the problem here. We don't know everything yet, right? And of course, there's going to be people out here that are upset about what's going on. People are going to be very anti-ICE out there and very pissed off that there are, that they did what they did here. Again, this is just one of them. I'm moving on. I'm going to see if there's some other live feeds, but yes, there's people angry. People definitely angry. I'll be coming back to that. Hold on. Oh, they ended it. They ended their live. Let's see if this one is still on. Yep, still live. Let's see what this one's saying. Yeah, these helicopters are out here. Helicopters are out here. Trey, don't worry, man. I know you just showed up late as hell. The hell's wrong with you, Trey? But I'll explain
forward
in a little bit.
A little bit.
I'll explain in a little bit. Promise. I'll be repeating everything here in just a minute. I know because a lot of people are late, just like you, Trey. Damn, gotta be late to the party, man. Always late to the damn party, Trey. Damn. But here's the thing. Mad love, man. Nothing but love, Trey. But here's the thing. We don't know the full scope of what's going on here. All right. They say that the suspects, by the way, suspects, plural, they're saying that the suspects have been detained and they have not been hurt. Okay. What it is, bro. But they have not said anything else other than that there was gunfire, that this is ICE involved, that ICE is involved, but they have not said whether or not there was an exchange of gunfire or if it was just ICE shooting at these particular people that they were trying to detain, or if it was the people that they were trying to detain that was actually actually shooting at ICE. They have not confirmed that at all. But one thing is for sure, the people that they were trying to detain, the suspects, have been detained. Unharmed. Okay? Not harmed at all. So, again, now you're seeing these people, they're trying to get, I guess, an understanding of what the F actually happened here. So we're going to see what happens. But remember, a lot of this would have been very, very helpful. Like a lot of this would have been explained if there was body cam footage out there.
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? Well, you know how important it is that cops have body cam footage, how they have body cameras on their bodies. You know it.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know about that? Wow,
I don't know. We can try. We'll try to do a tight orbit and see what we can see.
I don't understand orbit, but okay.
They want to see the whole group.
I'm just playing, guys. But yeah, them cops having body cam.
Oh, are you talking about the? Oh yeah, Christy.
He's figuring it out.
I don't know.
What's up about Christy? I don't know about.
Would she be here for this?
I don't know. Who invited Christy to this party, bro? Who invited Christy to this party, homie? And who Christy?
All right, we'll take a peek.
Peek at what?
Hey, Christian, what's up?
Here it is. Okay. I'm playing. Okay. I'm playing, guys. But here it is. All right. When it comes to the body cam footage, it's very important that all officers of the law have body cam. Why? Because then that could exonerate them in a situation that went awry. And it can also expose them if they're lying. So body cameras are very important. You know, remember what happened to Tyree Nichols? Does anybody remember what happened to Tyree Nichols? Tyree Nichols is a perfect example of a full-on cover-up happening in real time. Those cops even had body cameras on them, and they were doing everything they could to shut off the body cams while they were doing the worst things possible to Tyree Nichols. Remember the guy, he gets pulled over, he freaks out, he jumps out of the car, he makes a run for it. 8 cops run him down and basically unalive him right there in the street. All of them taking turns, doing unbelievable things to him, right? They were constantly shutting off their body cams the entire time. That was seen in real time. And then you see how they were treating this man, like he was nothing, like he was dirt. It's helpful when you have body cams like that, okay? When you get cameras out as well, like what happened with Renee Good, and it doesn't matter what side of the fence you were on, you at least get to see what actually happened. So you can come to your own conclusion, right? You can come to your own conclusion. Same thing with the George Floyd. I hate to bring that up, but it's the same thing that happened with George Floyd. There was body cam footage, and then, of course, there was cameras because people were filming what was happening in his last moments on Earth, right? All those things are very important. Now, this right here, the fact that there isn't so far any footage that we know of that's been out here yet is not good news, because that means ICE could have as much playing field to fabricate things that are not true in their story. And it's the same thing for the people who are trying to run away from ICE. They can make things up too. They could just straight up lie. You got to look at both sides of the fence here, guys. So again, body cams are incredibly important. It gives us a full-on scope of what actually happened. And these ICE agents, I'm going to repeat that until it does actually happen. But one thing is for sure, and I'm going to keep saying it until this actually does happen. They do not have body cams on their person. That's why you see a lot of them pulling out their phones and filming with their phones, because they don't have body cam at all. And I'll keep saying that until they actually start putting body cams on ICE agents. So they can say whatever they want. If you heard in the first news report, which I'm going to play that again, they said 2 different perspectives are being said right now, which is a recipe for disaster. They said 2 different perspectives are being said, which is never good. Where the heck did it go? Where the hell did it go? Let me just pull it up so you guys can hear it one more again.
We do want to share with you some breaking news that we're learning here right now. We're getting 2 different perspectives here. Let's take you out to this one. This is coming out of California, as we're learning an investigation is underway into a shooting involving a federal agent during an immigration enforcement operation. This all taking place in Los Angeles County. This happened around 7:20 a.m. in the Willowbrook area. That's according to the Sheriff's Department. Officials told Fox 11 a DHS task force was conducting an operation in pursuit of a car that ended up crashing. And we can see just moments ago there that what is most likely that car. And when agents approached that car to detain the suspects, shots were fired and the suspect was not hit. So, okay, we're getting a better look here now of that car as the camera is panning around. This is coming from Sky Fox. We also do have another angle that I'll show you here in just a brief moment, but roads are blocked in the area of Mona Boulevard and 126th Street, and traffic is being diverted as this investigation continues. And here's another look that we do have coming in here to our newsroom as well. Some more information. We do know the shooting involved personnel from U.S. Customs and Border Protection who were conducting a targeted enforcement operation. Following the discharge of weapons, a white sedan was found at the scene with a busted windshield, front end damage, and deployed airbags, suggesting a collision or forced stop took place. While federal involvement has been confirmed, authorities have not yet released the specific details of what led to the shooting or how many rounds were fired. It remains unclear if the suspects were armed or if the damage to the white sedan was a result of the enforcement tactic or an attempted flight. Federal agencies have not yet identified the suspects or the specific nature of the immigration charges they were facing. So once again, here's another live look that we do have just coming in. This investigation has been handed over now to federal authorities who will conduct an internal review of the discharge of service weapons. Further details are expected to be released by U.S. Customs and Border Protection or the Department of Homeland Security as the booking process for the suspects is completed. So if you are just tuning in, we're learning this breaking news that this investigation now underway into a shooting involving a federal agent during an immigration enforcement operation. Once again, this all taking place in Los Angeles County. This happened just a bit earlier this morning as we are getting these 2 live feeds that are coming into our newsroom.
Like I said, they don't have the full scope of anything yet. They don't know what the hell's going on. So again, this is bad. And I know some people are like, stop playing Fox News. Fox is the only one playing this right now. They're the only ones covering this from what I've seen so far. Okay, guys. As soon as there's something else out here, trust and believe I will be playing those things too, because I like hearing from different perspectives. But they're the only ones covering this thus far. All right, just so y'all know. But let me pull this back up.
Yeah, just kind of stay here. I think we got enough of it. You know what I mean? Like we can see the investigation at the start point.
Yeah, I was looking at KTLA as well.
And we can also
Carl.
talk a little bit about the crowds. Yeah, this is perfect. Let's just stay here.
Who the hell's Christy? I'm playing, guys. I'm playing. I did play a little bit of KTLA earlier, but at the same time, there hasn't been much.
2449.
Okay, then
apartment, and even if I did, I don't think I'll be able to narrow it that down. Yeah, that what I'm showing you right there, that's the 2449. Where are they going in such a rush?
Don't forget to hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, baby. Okay? We cover a lot of stuff on this show. Everything from true crime to pop culture to politics and all the craziness in between.
Is that the councilwoman that was on the Zoom meeting earlier?
Maybe, bro.
I don't know.
But don't forget to do that, okay? We cover a lot of stuff on this channel. A lot of times it's breaking news, all right? Yeah, Nicole B, we always been dealing with some BS, okay? Trey got jokes today. Straight out of Compton. But that's true. This is straight out of Compton. I'm going to see if there's any TikTok love going on. And FYI, for those of y'all who are interested in the Melody Buzzard case, there's a preliminary hearing apparently happening today as well for Ashley Buzzard, who is being charged for unaliving her own daughter. That apparently is happening today as well, just so you guys know, the preliminary hearing that's going on. Jesus is King. Thank you so much for the positive feedback. I appreciate that. You know, there's going to be some buttholes in the chat. That's just usually how it is, you know? Haters going to hate, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's the one thing I'm kind of curious about. What is that, a gunshot like hole? It doesn't look like a hole. They must have ran into something, or maybe somebody threw a rock or something. or it's a ricochet like they were talking about before. Because the window, the back windshield, right? The back window, the rear window, I'm sorry, is shattered. So clearly it may have gone through and then maybe stopped at that window, the windshield, maybe.
Yeah, see, I don't even think it went through the rear window. I think there's some damage right there. What he was
Thank
just
you,
pointing
Robin.
to, but again, just speculation. But maybe there were 2 shots fired. Maybe one went through the rear window, and this one went from the glass inside to right there. Yeah.
It's crazy. Allie, and then we're waiting for after the swarm of locusts, aren't we waiting for like frogs or like toads or something like that to like?
We still got our little crowd over here. Yeah.
Isn't it locusts, then frogs, and then something else, right? Who else knows their Bible? What's after locusts? It's frogs, right? Oops, sorry about that. But Co, thank you so much for being a member for the past month.
Melissa.
I appreciate it.
Adult.
Hold on real quick. Time to put the hater shades on. I didn't mean to pull this up. I just clicked on it on accident, but I will read it anyway. So thank you so much for being a member for the past month. I appreciate it. Time to put the hater shades on. Sorry, I'm blocking all the haters. LOL. Keep up the great work, Pascal. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for your support. Yeah. Haters gonna hate. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
If it's just fuel in return.
So this must be an eyewitness here. It's got to be these two right here. Or maybe not. Maybe she's a cop. Yeah, she's a cop. Never mind. I take that back. I see her shield on her, around her neck.
What are you talking about?
Badge. I mean, you know. I watched way too many cop TV shows.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. Oh, I don't think we're going to be that into it, but yeah. And don't think it's our end of that. That would be, hang on.
So he's muting. Okay, so I'm gonna take a look and see if there's anything else here. I feel like I already played this, but maybe not.
We begin with our breaking news. This is in Willowbrook, the scene of an officer-involved shooting during an ICE operation. Rich Prickett overhead in Sky 5 HD. Rich, good morning.
Frank, good morning. According to authorities, it was around 7:20 this morning when that ICE operation was going down here in Willowbrook. This is 126th Street near Mona, where you can see federal officers are here. There's a crime scene set up. Now, during that operation, there was a brief pursuit with a suspect. We see a silver sedan here with the doors open and possibly a shattered rear window there. There was an officer-involved shooting, or at least an officer, a federal officer had discharged his weapon. Now, we're hearing nobody was struck. The suspect has been taken into custody. There was no ambulance that was required, so we believe that person was not struck by gunfire, but they may have fired into the vehicle. We're still awaiting more information. The investigation just now underway. The Sheriff's Department has the street shut down. However, they were not involved in the operation itself. You can see some of the federal agents that are here within the perimeter. We'll keep you updated on this, but an ICE operation happening here in Willowbrook at about 7:30 this morning.
We got more.
I'm John.
Hold on. I am going to pull this up so you guys can see this too. Uno momento, por favor. Uno momento, por favor. Let's take a look at this.
We're following breaking news out of Willowbrook with reports of another shooting involving federal agents. Let's go to David Gonzalez live at the scene for the latest. David.
Hey, good morning, John. Yeah, this investigation started around 7:25 this morning, all concentrating here on 126th Street and Mulla Boulevard. You could see different agencies here, including federal agents on the ground after a shooting involving a federal agent. Right now, we heard that shots were fired earlier this morning, but no one was injured. But you could see a big scene involving federal agents, California Highway Patrol, and the LA County Sheriff's Office. People on the scene here very concerned about federal enforcement in their neighborhood. They say that there's a lot of immigrant families that live here. So, of course, seeing federal agents on the ground as they investigate, drawing and stirring up a lot of emotion, a lot of concern, and a lot of fear. But I can tell you right now that no one was hurt in a shooting involving a federal agent here off of 126th Street and Mona Boulevard.
So no one was injured. They keep repeating that over and over and over again, which of course is appreciated because we at least want to know about that. But at the same time, we need more information. What the hell happened here, right? Why did this happen the way it went down, right? What's the play-by-play?
Breaking news right now out of Willowbrook. We're getting reports of a shooting involving an officer with the Department of Homeland Security. This right here is a live look at what's going on there. The LA County Sheriff's Department says it happened around 7:20 this morning. We're also told that DHS agent task force was conducting an operation in pursuit of a vehicle that crashed in the 2400 block of 126th Street. Then agents went in to detain the suspects. Shots were fired. However, that individual was not hit. We're working to learn more information about this incident, and we will keep you updated on air as well as online on Fox.
We got some breaking news here, or not breaking news, but it just came out. And I appreciate one of the viewers watching the show sent this to me. I do appreciate this. This is coming straight from Homeland Security. Let's take a look at this comment here, or this statement. So they put this out just a little bit ago. Yeah, a little bit over a half hour ago. Fascinating. So Homeland Security just tweeted this. At 7:05 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Compton, California, to arrest a violent criminal illegal alien from El Salvador, William Eduardo Morin Carballo, hopefully I'm saying that right, who is involved in a human smuggling operation and has 2 prior arrests for inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or cohabitant. An immigration judge issued him a final order of removal in 2019. In a dangerous attempt to evade arrest, this criminal illegal alien weaponized his vehicle and rammed law enforcement. So, wait a second. That means this guy did not have a weapon, maybe? Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired defensive shots. Here we go. The criminal illegal alien was not hit and attempted to flee on foot. He was successfully apprehended by law enforcement. The illegal alien was not injured, but a CBP officer was injured. These dangerous attempts to evade arrest have surged since sanctuary politicians, including Governor Newsom, have encouraged illegal aliens to evade arrest and provided guides advising illegal aliens how to recognize ICE, block entry, and defy arrest. Our officers are now facing a 3,200% increase in vehicle attacks. This situation is evolving, and more information is forthcoming. Holy cow. Holy cow. So they're saying that they were trying to obtain this guy, this illegal alien, okay, this illegal from El Salvador. And apparently he's a very, very bad guy. They were trying to get the guy Apparently, he was supposed to be kicked out of the country 7 years ago, and he never did. So they tried to get this guy. He tried to get away by using his car. Then, of course, try to ram the car or ram somebody with his car. Somebody opened fire. So there's no pew-pew from the actual assailant, from William. Interesting, right? So there was no exchange of gunfire, but there really was gunfire. And it does make you wonder, it sounds like they shot more than just once. So they went bang, and then maybe as he was driving away, went bang, 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 and then he crashed the car, right? Because he's dodging, he's trying to dodge bullets as it's breaking his back, the windshield, or breaking the rear window of his car. He crashes, he gets out of the car, and he tries to run on foot. ICE is able to detain this guy, but it sounds like this guy did not have a weapon, because they would have instantly said, yo, he had a pew-pew. He opened fire, and then, we exchanged gunfire. No, that's not what they're saying here, which is interesting. Let me just say this one more time. All right. He's a very, very bad guy. Apparently, he was moving people around. Okay. And he did some very, very bad things to either a spouse, like a wife, or, a roomie. Okay. Or a girlfriend. So, in a dangerous attempt to evade arrest, this criminal illegal alien weaponized his vehicle and rammed law enforcement. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired defensive shots. They did not say anything about, which I'm surprised. Okay. Which I'm surprised. But they're saying that he did not exchange any gunfire. They're the ones who went brap, brap, right? This is what DHS is saying. So if news stations are saying, Recon Jake just said, news stations are saying he had a weapon and then he fired first. That's not what DHS is saying. They're saying he used his car as a weapon, but he did not open fire on anyone. That is very important. Let me repeat this paragraph one more time. In a dangerous attempt to evade arrest, Will from El Salvador, weaponized his vehicle and rammed law enforcement, fearing for his life and safety. An agent fired defensive shots. This illegal alien then was not hit, but got out of the car and tried to run on foot. He was successfully apprehended by law enforcement. The illegal alien, William, was not injured, but an officer was injured. So this particular person, Will from El Salvador, did not have a weapon. He did not open fire on these people, on these agents. It was DHS that opened fire on, or ICE that opened fire on Will. That's very interesting. But they're saying he used his car as a weapon. And that's why they at first shot at him, because he tried to weaponize his vehicle. Interesting. But, the plot will continue to thicken. I'm looking at more stuff. Give me a second, y'all.
Chris, if you're asking me, yes, definitely, we can go.
I'm just going to read some of this off camera while we are kind of finding out more information here. Okay, or as we have this live feed going on. So federal agents were involved in a shooting in Los Angeles County Wednesday morning today. A spokesperson for the LA County Sheriff's Department told Nextstar's KTLA that officers with the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol were conducting immigration enforcement in the Willowbrook area when the shooting occurred. Per the spokesperson, they say calls regarding the gunfire came at around 7:20 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It was around that time that federal officers, began pursuing an individual, but the chase ended in a collision in the 2400 block of 126th Street. That's when shots actually rang out. No one was struck by gunfire, thank God. Even pedestrians, even civilians living in their homes, thank God nobody got hurt. Let's be real. The spokesperson elaborated, but they were unable to confirm how many rounds were fired. That is also very important. I'm just going to be real. Because if it was only like one bang, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? But this doesn't sound like a one bang type of situation. This sounds like multiple bullets were fired. But that's just me. They did verify, however, that an ambulance was not called to the scene. Say, okay, well, that's weird. I do think that's weird that they said that an officer was injured, just so you know. An officer, according to the DHS, from their tweet, they said an officer was injured, but no ambulance was called to the scene. I find that strange. Doesn't mean that it's a cover-up, but I just find that very strange. It was not immediately known if the individual's vehicle crashed into other vehicles, was struck by the Border Patrol vehicle, or crashed into something. That's what the spokesperson said. So we don't even know. They're like, maybe the car hit the vehicle, the ICE vehicle. Maybe it didn't. Maybe the ICE vehicle hit the assailant's vehicle. We don't know, right? They don't even know if he crashed into something, but the car is banged up. You can see it. And I'm sure it wasn't banged up like that before he had his run-in with ICE. I'm just assuming. Sheriff's deputies are not involved in the shooting, but they are on the scene, maintaining a perimeter to keep the public away from the scene. So apparently a video posted on the Citizen app shows authorities had blocked off part of the area for the investigation. Several marked SUVs, similar to those used by federal agents during immigration operations, were seen on the street. Let's see, moving on. In a statement, DHS said that federal agents were conducting a targeted operation to arrest William Carballo, who they said was involved in moving people, which we already talked about, has 2 prior arrests for inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or a cohabitant. The immigration judge had issued his final order of removal in 2019, like we just said a second ago. He drove his car to evade an arrest. He allegedly hit one of these ICE agents. They opened fire, and now we're here where we are. Yeah. Are they just doing advertising now? Let's continue. Don't know why they're doing that, but okay. This Skycam is brought to you by SpaceX. I guess they're landing and refueling, maybe going back. But hold on. Let's see what's going on with this. Must be gone. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay. Oh, it is live. Okay, so that's still live. Let's take a look at this feed right now.
Just fucking no, dude, because they need to know, and I'm ignorant, so.
Man, if I was a cop, I would have been on this side talking shit, man. Fuck this booze.
Oh, jeez. They took 2 men eating breakfast on Bicycle Shop in Maine as
si
well.
enfocamos en esto, como en la mitad, porque la señora, la muchacha, like, lo que han corrido de aquí, ella se enojaba porque los están diciendo que son ahí, pero obviamente no son amigos de nosotros ellos, pero en este
My
momento,
sister,
pero más
she
son
sent me
amigos.
this fucking picture. I guess someone's live, and she's like, I see you. Bitch, my fucking hair.
Oh, all of them are trying to look.
Is that you?
Yeah. He poked me, like, touch me again. He didn't want to touch me. I was like, ¿qué no hará? 5 años? 7 años? So I'm with that with a fight, my boy. They're going to have to come put me off. Y toda la gente they jump in, imagine like.
That shit would be good as fuck. We all jumping in. No, for real.
We're going back to that. Hold on. Take a look at this. Yeah, y'all, we're just still waiting on some sort of information. So while we're doing that, while we're waiting, let me just get some of these super chats here real quick. Let me knock out a few. Okay. I'll take a look at that, Ali. Thank you so much for sending me more information. Angel of the Skies, thank you so much. Making sure y'all know Trump is the devil. Oh my God. Oh, he's making some very interesting waves out overseas right now. I'm just gonna be real. He is definitely causing some issues. There's apparently a halt going on with trades that are going on right now as we speak. Yeah, so this is some crazy stuff. Okay, but let's continue. Okay, we're still waiting on something. It must be frozen or something. It must be, but don't worry. I'm gonna look at a few more things. Excuse me, guys. Jocelyn, thank you so much for the love. You want body cams, many angles of RG, and everyone divided. Yeah, no, I know you. I know, I get your point, but here's the thing: we at least have those angles. Sure, it's divided. Everyone's going to put their own bias in the videos that they see, especially when it's something that's controversial and politically polarizing, right? As Renee Good's loss of life, right? But we still have those angles, though. This right here, the fact that we don't know everything just gives people more opportunity to make things up, or it makes a very already angry and agitated group of people even more agitated because they instantly feel that they're being lied to. That's the problem. But I see what you're saying. You're right. Still divided the country. Same thing with the George Floyd situation, with any of Ahmaud Arbery's tragic demise. I mean, all of them. Still, there's going to be a corner of the world that's going to sit there and say, oh, what happened to this particular person was justified versus it being unjustified. Just like there's people out here that think Brian Kohlberger is innocent. Come on now. And even that, you don't have all the proof, of everything. That stuff is slowly starting to leak out. But at the same time, you see what I'm saying? So it's easy for us to have our bias play into what's going on here because we don't have the information. I'd rather have the information so that we can come up with our own perspective, come to our own conclusions, right? But yeah, there's always going to be the general consensus is going to be one way, right? And there's always going to be a group of people that are going to veer off and go, no, that's not what I saw. I saw something completely different. That's unfortunate, but at the same time, that's just part of how the cookie crumbles, right?
Good morning and welcome to the KTLA 5 Morning News at 11 a.m. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Thanks for joining us. We begin with breaking news from Willowbrook, where
Hold on. I hit something. What is that? Oh, it's from Fox. Son of a bee. All right, let's try that again. I was about to start breaking down like body rolls. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go.
Shooting has occurred during a federal immigration enforcement operation.
Officials say agents were trying to take a violent criminal into custody when shots were fired. KTLA 5's Chip Yost live at the scene with the latest information. Chip?
Yeah, hello there, guys. We still have a large federal law enforcement presence here. We are on 126th Street. This is between Willowbrook and Mona. Around 7 this morning, there was an operation taking place here that resulted in a federal agent opening fire. You can see they have a large number of agents still on scene here, along with some investigators. We're going to read you a statement here in a moment from the Department of Homeland Security describing what happened. After that, we'll show you some more video from Sky 5 HD, but let's start with that statement if we could. We'll put it up on the screen for you. It says, at 7:05 a.m., Department of Homeland Security law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Compton, California. We're in Willowbrook. This is right next to Compton, right on the border here, to arrest a violent criminal illegal alien from El Salvador, William Eduardo Moran Carabello, who is involved in a human smuggling operation and has 2 prior arrests for inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or cohabitant. An immigration judge issued him a final order of removal in 2019. In a dangerous attempt to evade arrest, this criminal illegal alien weaponized his vehicle and rammed law enforcement. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired defensive shots. The criminal illegal alien was not hit and attempted to flee on foot. He was successfully apprehended by law enforcement. The illegal alien was not injured, but a CBP officer was injured. Now let's go to some more video from Sky 5 HD. After this incident happened, a large number of folks showed up from around the area, different folks from around the area who had heard about it, many of them protesting the presence of federal agents in this neighborhood. We also spoke to a young woman who lives in this neighborhood down the street from where this happened. We talked to her about this, and she said that information that we just read you from the Department of Homeland Security did not change her opinion about how she feels about federal agents being in her neighborhood. Oh, weird.
Well, it's scary because, well, you're not safe in your own home. You're at your home and you don't know if you could go out and anything is going to happen to you.
The Department of Homeland Security put out a statement saying this was a targeted action against a person who's in the country illegally that has a criminal record. Does that change anything as far as you're concerned?
No, because regardless, so far I haven't seen them only going for criminals. They've been going for innocent people, separating families.
And here's another live look of what's taking place now. Looks like an investigation underway.
And it looks like there's going to be a press conference here in just a little bit about this as well. So that's coming up here shortly.
To that shooting, they've got the whole street blocked off here at 126th. Again, this is between Mona and Willowbrook. In Willowbrook, right next to the city of Compton. For now, we're...
Yeah, looks like there's going to be a press conference here in just a few minutes. Let me pull that up for you guys too.
Now from Fox. So we did want to share that with you. We're also monitoring a number of other live events here on Live Now from Fox. And we do see this live look right here. This is with the Bureau of Investigations. This just popped up on our screen and it's a little unclear as to exactly, where this might be from. But as soon as we get more information, we will bring that to you. In the meantime, though, we have a lot of other live events that we do want to get to. And in the meantime, Greenland live look. We did see a lot of people walking down the staircase. No sight of President Trump, but of course, this, and you always have to wonder whether he might be speaking about the latest development on Greenland, as he has been throughout the many meetings that we have been airing right here on Live Now from Fox. So we did want to share that with you. We're also monitoring a number of other live events here on Live Now from Fox, and we do see this live look right here. This is with the Bureau of Investigations. This just popped up on our screen, and it's a little unclear as to exactly, where this might be from. But as soon as we get more information, we will bring that to you. In the meantime, though, we have
the cells can reorganize themselves in some really amazing ways, especially with stem cells. They can be anything.
All right, that's something completely different. Hold up, guys. They're talking about some other stuff. And that's not what we're here for. We're here for information. Yeah, hold on. Uno momento, por favor.
CBS LA Mornings starts with breaking news.
Breaking
news.
news.
At 11, Border Patrol agents opened fire during an operation in Willowbrook. Nobody was hit by gunfire, but right now a tense standoff between neighbors and federal agents. We're going to get right to CBS LA's Rick Montanez, who's live at the scene, has been all morning. Rick, what are you learning about what happened now?
Well, Jamie, things got a little bit more tense within the last few minutes because the LASD, which is out here assisting in terms of the crime scene and the perimeter here, they started pushing everybody further back at the request of federal agents, which angered a lot of people here in the crowd who are already so frustrated, so angry, and they have been shouting and shouting at the agents, at even LASD as they are out here. We can also tell you that we've seen a lot more agents arrive. Let's show you video from just a short time ago where we saw at least one van in this video you'll see here show up with a lot of agents getting out there in tactical gear with weapons out and drawn. And then we've also seen people from the FBI, from Homeland Security Investigations, the ATF, as well as the U.S. Marshals, Border Patrol, CHP, and the Sheriff's Department are all out here. We want to read a statement to you from DHS, which explains from the federal agents' side of things what happened here. So here we go. It says at 7:05 a.m., DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Compton, California, to arrest a violent criminal illegal alien from El Salvador, William Eduardo Moran Carballo, who is involved in a human smuggling operation and has 2 prior arrests for inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or cohabitant. An immigration judge issued his final order of removal in 2019. DHS goes on to say, in a dangerous attempt to evade arrest, the criminal illegal alien weaponized his vehicle and rammed law enforcement. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired defensive shots. The criminal illegal alien, the statement says, was not hit and attempted to flee on foot. He was successfully apprehended by law enforcement. The illegal alien, the statement says, was not injured, but a CBP officer was injured. We also, though, talked with a woman who says she witnessed what happened, that she saw agents out here yesterday, and she saw the confrontation, which we have not seen video of yet, but here's how she describes it.
What happened was that I have a neighbor, right? So he was heading out to his car, and then they were already parked inside though. Like there was like a white van and like a gray car that was already parked inside, and a couple of the cars, but I couldn't catch them. And he was walking out, and then as soon as he went inside his car, that's when, like, I guess they tried getting him out the car, and he tried running away his car. But then that's when they shot him, like they shot like twice.
You heard that right? Uh-oh. Isn't that crazy? Eyewitness says, and of course, eyewitness, you never know, everyone sees things different, right? But she's saying, and I'm going to play that again so we could see that, hear what she said one more time. Because I think that's very important to hear what she just said. But apparently he went into his car. They ran up to try to get him. He freaked out and drove. Now, was there somebody in front, boxing him in by standing in front of the car? That could be it too, but Let's hear what she got to say one more time.
Heading out to his car, and then they were.
Let me do that and roll back a little bit more.
Video of yet, but here's how she describes it.
What happened was that I have a neighbor, right? So he was heading out to his car, and then they were already parked inside though. Like there was like a white van and like a gray car that was already parked inside, and a couple of the cars, but I couldn't catch them. And he was walking out, and then as soon as he went inside his car, that's when like I guess they tried getting him out the car, and he tried running away in his car. But then that's when they shot him. Like they shot like twice.
You heard that, right? So again, he walked out to his car. He got into his car. ICE ran up, trying to get him out of the car. I guess the guy freaked out and drove off. Now, did he use his car as a weapon? Is that true? Or is that just a fugazi? And they just shot at him anyway because he was driving away. Was he being shot at for just driving away? That's a question, because they said, just so you know, they did not say that he was exchanging gunfire. They didn't say that he had a weapon on him. That's absolutely very important information. But let's continue.
And so you see here in this video more of the confrontation between neighbors, community activists who are angry, who are shouting for ICE agents, federal agents to leave the community. But we've also seen that they have also had face-to-face confrontations. And then so things have gotten really tense out here. And as we come back live again, we can see that it is still very tense situation here. And so they're trying to sort through a lot of this. Neighbors are very angry. Even sheriff's deputy here talking about the perimeter changes and things going on here. And so we're going to toss back to Mark Liu at the assignment desk because, Mark, you have information on really just kind of the scope of how big this scene is out here.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Rick. And it has been growing. We've seen this with SkyCal here at the desk all morning. Let's go to those live pictures right now, and you're going to see essentially what Rick was in the middle of down there. This is 126th Street and Mona. This is on the western end of this very large scene that has now encompassed almost all of 126th Street all the way to Alameda. You can see there's a lot of media down there. And then there's also a lot of people from the area with their cell phones. Now, that is the car in question that Customs and Border Patrol say had that dangerous undocumented worker that they were trying to take into custody. That person they named as William Eduardo Moran Carballo. They say that he is now in custody. They did open fire at one point, but he was not struck. They say a Customs and Border Patrol officer was injured. You can see, though, this part of 126th Street is getting really crowded with cars. There's the far end of that crime scene line where there are also media and other people from the neighborhood down there with their cell phones. Now, this caravan, you see right in the middle, all of those SUVs, just a few minutes ago, they arrived. SkyCal caught video of that. We didn't know exactly who was in that caravan. Let me show you that video now of those of that caravan arriving. You can see this.
What just happened? That is insane. They just took this down. Why did they take this down? Wow, look at that. Wow, they just took that down. Why did they take that down, guys? No, that's not a solar flare. They straight up took that down. Remember, that was CBS. Yeah. What's up with that? Why did they take that down? Why the hell did they take that down? That's insane. What the hell? All right. That's a bit of a surprise, don't you think? That was weird. That was very, very weird. I'm seeing if there's any other live footage right now. And honestly, a lot of the live footage has stopped. They're focused on this other stuff
Our international partnerships there. I'm just so grateful that I got
with NASA and I mean, Trump will not impose tariffs over apparently breaking. I know this is a little bit of a left turn, but just so you guys know what's going on elsewhere in the world, they're saying right down here, breaking, Trump will not impose tariffs over Greenland. Just so you guys know. But that's interesting. CBS had that whole video up and now it's gone. Why is it? Because that eyewitness said what she said? I mean, we got to ask these questions. Just seems a little bit odd that eyewitness is like, yeah, I saw what I saw, and this is how it went down. And now they take that whole thing down. Hopefully somebody has their hands on that. But that was insane. We're looking to see if there's anything else here, guys. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Uno momento, por favor. A lot of things going on in the world right now, guys. This is crazy. A lot of things going on in the world. Well, I'm just going to hold on. Wow. A lot of chaos going on right now, guys. Yeah, no, it's frustrating. We got something here, looks like. Hold on, let's see what's going on here.
My thanks to my colleague Stephanie Quinn, who's been with you for the last few hours, taking you through some of today's top stories. As you see there, we were able to hear from those NASA astronauts themselves after having to cut their mission short due to a medical issue. Of course, a number of questions were answered about those astronauts' specific experience of their.
We're gonna, or that's not what we're here for. Just some other random stuff that's going on while we wait for this press conference to actually start popping off. You know about Greg Bovino? Apparently he was confronted by protesters, just recently, just a little bit ago. So let's take a look at this while we wait for this press conference.
There's Bovino. Good job, guys. Good job. You say get off my property.
Get out of here. Get out of my way. I'm trying to leave. Get out of the way. Are you trying to get out of here? Yeah. Hey. Hey, they're trying to leave. Hey, he's trying to get out of here. You got. Hey, watch out behind you. Hey. Don't touch this. Get out of my city. You're welcome.
Ay, caramba.
What are you seeing while you're out today? What are you seeing? You're good. I'm from Reuters. Can you tell me what you're seeing and hearing?
Thank you for the $10 super chat.
Kind of what you're out doing today, what you're looking for.
We're getting gas now.
But you're not just getting gas now. I mean, I'm trying to be serious. What are you doing?
Yeah, we're getting gas now.
Other than that, what are you doing? And how's it going so far?
Fantastic. It's going good. Much interesting.
Are you guys looking at the consequences for denial
Crazy.
of service at all?
We're getting gas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who are you with?
Reuters.
Is Minnesota any different than Chicago?
It's a tough one.
What do you them as they come up and talk to you here? The Gestapo showed up. They're getting some. I know, but some giants, or is it all just people? Fucking assholes.
Yeah, this dude's the guy in charge of all the ice.
Out of Minneapolis.
Definitely more paparazzi.
Yeah, 5'3", baby.
Not that you're paparazzi.
You don't take your pants in high school.
Does this affect you hearing people blowing the whistles and telling you to get out?
Abolish ICE, all the power to the people.
In our city.
Abolish this country. Abolish ICE. Get out of here, you fucker.
So how do you keep your composure not to go off the bus?
Minneapolis cares about our neighbors. Fuck you, now. Shame. Shame on you.
Hey, Fur must be making a comeback, guys. Fur coat. Fur must be making a comeback. Excellent. So, good time.
Jamie, is going to marry you.
Hey, I love your coat. Is that Fox?
You are not welcome here. We're not going to let you talk. Okay? Fuck you. Fuck you, Bobina, you pants
Good? You filled up? All right.
We know.
Thank y'all. Good to see you.
You're in high school. You're a loser, Bobina. You're a loser, Bobina. You are a loser. All of you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
No one back.
That's just crazy. Man, we ain't even done with January yet. You feel me? We haven't even gotten through the first month of the year, man. Damn. We y'all. Am I the only one that's tired? Am I the only one that's tired? There's so much going on. Oh my word. So much going on. Oh my word. Oh my word. I don't even know what to do. I might have to use a whole other streaming platform so that I can put like multiple screens on at the same time so we can just watch everything simultaneously because things are happening in real time simultaneously. Okay. There's another press conference that just done in regards to a person that was actually detained by ICE claiming that she was assaulted, right? That just happened while Trump is also dealing with, he's over dealing with this whole Greenland situation. We got the shooting that happened in Los Angeles. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. All right. There's so much going on. So much going on. There's supposed to be a press conference. I don't know what for. Let's see what's going on here. Is this for that?
By Supervisory Special Agent Aaron Sears of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Assistant U.S. Attorney Alex Sisler, who serves as the Deputy Chief of the Complex Fraud Section of my office. Earlier this afternoon, Todd Burkhalter of St. Petersburg, Florida, pled guilty to orchestrating what is one of the largest, if not the largest, Ponzi schemes in Georgia history. As the chief executive officer.
We're going to have to look at that later. Oh, my God. And why does he look like Jason Schwartzman? Does anybody know who Jason Schwartzman is? Look him up. He looks like the actor could play him in a movie. But anyway, okay, we're going over to Trump. We got to see what's going on here. There's supposedly going to be a press conference, if I'm correct, about this shooting that happened in LA, When it's going to go down, I don't know yet. But this is all breaking right now as we speak, okay?
Vantage point that we have of President Trump as he is overseas at the World Economic Forum. Let's listen.
Greenland?
Really good.
Is it a win for America?
Are the tariffs off the table completely now, sir? Can the people of the UK rest assured the deal's gone? Based on the fact that it looks like we have the concept of it. Is that more security in the Arctic, sir?
Mr. President, what does it mean for territory, for your legacy, sir? What does it mean for your legacy to have Greenland?
The next step, Mr. President. I think it's a really good deal for everybody. It's a great security, good national security.
Russia trying to come and take over Greenland. If you're worried that Putin would do something like that, why invite him to join your board of peace?
Because we want everybody. We want all nations. We want all nations where people have control, people have power. Where we're never going to have a problem. This is the greatest board ever assembled. And everybody wants to be on it. But yeah, I have some controversial people on, but these are people that get the job done. These are people that have tremendous influence. But all babies on the board, it wouldn't be very much. So he was invited. He's accepted. Many people have accepted. I don't know of anybody that hasn't accepted. But it's going to be good. I think the Board of Peace will be the most prestigious board ever, and it's going to get a lot of work done that the United Nations should have done. And we'll work with the United Nations, but the Board of Peace is going to be special. You're going to have peace. It started off with Gaza and the Middle East. We've got peace in the Middle East, tremendous peace in the Middle East. Nobody thought that was possible. And that happened by taking out the Iran nuclear threat. Without that, it could have never happened. But the board is going to be, I think, really fantastic. And I think it'll be the most prestigious board of any board ever in world history. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, how important is it for you to have Greenland?
tomorrow.
Did you speak to them much?
Hey, Chihuahua.
All right, as you see there, we did just lose that shot here on Live Now from Fox. That happens from time to time as we're in those live events and getting that feed as it comes to us. So we do know that President Trump has been spending the week there in Davos, Switzerland. He just arrived a little bit earlier on today, gave multiple speeches, and also took time to address reporters like he just did several times throughout the World Economic Forum. And so what we've really been waiting on is the latest here with Greenland. We just brought it to you as breaking news in the last hour ago with President Trump declaring that he had come to some sort of deal based off of those negotiations. I'm going to read off this Truth Social post there on your screen. It says, based upon a very productive meeting that I have had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled to go into effect on February 1st. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be made available as those discussions progress. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and various others, as needed, will be responsible for those negotiations. They will report directly to me. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And as you see from that gaggle that we were able to have and bring to you on Live Now from Fox, President Trump was asked a whole host of questions about Greenland and the statement that he just recently made.
I want to pause this so we could reread this again. So based upon a very productive meeting that I had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework for the future deal or of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs. So that's what's up. We heard that as breaking news, but he's also said this in Truth Social. So he's like, hey, I will not impose these tariffs that were scheduled to go into effect on the 1st of February. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be available as discussions progress. J.D. Vance, Mark Rubio, Steve Witkoff, and various others, as needed, will be responsible for the negotiations. They will report directly to me. Thank you for the attention to this matter. What's interesting about this is that he's not saying we're going to take it by force anymore. So he ain't saying that anymore. He's not going, hey, we taking it by force whether you like it or not. He's still trying to make a deal happen. That deal better be sexy as hell. But here's the other thing, too. What's Greenland saying about this? What is Denmark, the kingdom of, what is Denmark saying about all this? Are they fine with this? So again, I don't know. That's very interesting, though. Very interesting, because remember, he was giving off the vibe that he was about to just go up there and steal that mug. Now it sounds like there's going to be some sort of negotiation going on, but is it really going to go the way that Trump wants? We will see.
Count. But ultimately, what we can take away is that President Trump announced today that he would not be following through on his threat to impose tariffs on 8 European allies. This was set to go into effect on February 1st over their opposition to his claim of Greenland. We do know that President Trump has already dropped his threat to invade Greenland by force earlier today and has now reversed his tariff, which triggered a crisis in the transatlantic alliance and rattled global markets as well. And so we do know, as said there on his statement, as he reiterated in some of those questions, he has now claimed to found a solution to the Greenland crisis. This was during that meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. And so basically what we heard there, President Trump saying that this is going to be a great thing for the United States. We'll continue to keep our eyes on all of this and as it unfolds. And in the meantime, we do want to take this opportunity to slide away for our first 2-minute commercial break of the hour. On the other side, though, much more.
Yeah, that's very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. So I want to show you guys this other press conference that just happened. Like I said, there's so much crap going on. I mean, like I said, I might have to use a whole other streaming platform just so I can have 15 different screens going on at the same damn time, because that's literally what we're at right now, because there's so much going on. But, there was another press conference. So a St. Paul resident said that ICE agents harassed and assaulted her during her arrest. Let's take a look at this press conference here. We're not going to play the whole thing, but, they usually give us the facts in the very beginning. So hopefully we'll find out the information now.
To be here with you all. Thank you for being here.
And of course, it's only coming out the left ear. Come on now.
Nasra Ahmed and her father's here with us, the family members that happened to the tragedy in St. Paul about a week ago.
Hello, my name is, excuse me.
Thank you. And over the last 2 weeks, my office has been receiving endless complaints from our community about civil rights violation on our streets and our community. We are hearing from U.S. citizens, parents, young people, and working family who say they have been stopped with no clarity cost and demanding to show their identity, whether they are citizens or whether they are here illegally or legally way in the state of Minnesota. Let me be clear, this is not a normal, it is unlawful, and it's not public safety. It is intimidation, harassment, and it looks like racial profiling for those people, black and brown, that has been detained in St. Paul and the state of Minnesota. Many of you have seen the video that's circling online about Nasra Ahmed. Nasra Ahmed is 23 years old, U.S. citizen, born here in Minnesota, raised in Minnesota. She was unjustly arrested by ICE and detained for 2 days with no legal representation, with no giving a clear answer why she got arrested. Nasra just has been released, but she's not fine yet because she's shocked, devastated, traumatized, and she will never be the same until she got arrested. But what we experienced, it felt like a nightmare when I spoke with her, that she is not feeling the same person. She feels fear. She asked questions herself whether she belonged in here or not, even though she was born in the United States of America.
Again, an American citizen, racially profiled, detained by ICE because of the color of her skin and possibly what she was wearing. They just automatically assumed that she was illegal when she wasn't. Insane.
She has been harassed because the way she looks like, the way she dressed. It was easy target to pick up because she is Somali American, but they did not ask her whether she's, born here, and she's been saying it clearly that I am citizen, I am born here in America, never seen in the country. This bigger than one case. Every single person reporting this incident, it's a person of color. That's unacceptable. So today I'm saying clearly, has to stop for the racial profiling that we've seen in our state of Minnesota. Targeting of Black and brown community in Minnesota must end. No one should be treated like a criminal because of their skin color, because their name, because their accent, or the neighborhood that they live in. Because what ICE is doing, they're targeting Pacific community. They're targeting where immigrant people and people of color are live in public housings. They're not targeting other individuals, but they're targeting for those people that does not look like them. Minnesota is better than this. We will not be silent. We will be demanding answer, and we will demand accountability for those people that's doing bad in our state. As the state legislator and many of my colleagues here today, we will hold accountability for those hurting, for those people that, whether it's citizens or living in the state of Minnesota, we will be willing to protect. But now I would like to call Nasser Ahmed for her to testimony and say a few words.
Does this mic work?
Yeah, it works.
Hello. Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure I'm a little closer. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, hello. I am very grateful to have this opportunity to speak in front of everyone, and thank you to my senator for representing me and the people behind me for representing me. I can never be more grateful than I am right now. I'm not used to the attention and the fame, unwanted fame that I am receiving right now. My image is out there, but it's an image for a reason. It's an image that I will carry for the rest of my life. And I am proud. I am proud to say that I've survived ICE. I'm proud to say that I stood up for what is right. And many people are saying, including my family and friends, that I will go down in history. And I will carry this on my shoulders, and I will carry it even though I am fearful. I am a bit anxious. I'm going to admit that I didn't expect this to happen, but here I am speaking in front of everyone, and there's cameras recording me. Hi, everyone who's watching me right now. Yeah, my name is Nazra. It's nice to meet you guys. It's nice to meet everyone. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Minnesota. I also grew up in Columbus, Ohio, but I also grew up here, and I was also raised here. I was raised in both cities. Both are well-known Somali communities. So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you're gonna get what I mean. So what I'm trying to say is people might be confused by me being Somali, but then when they hear my like voice, they say, this girl is very American. There's something American about her. So like my family says, you're so American. You're so American. There's something American about you. But then when other people see me, they're like, there's something Somali about you. You're really Somali, you know? So that's what it's like, you know?
Yeah, I think that obviously you get the general idea on this. Of course, it is scary what she went through. Let's be real. So you know, you're driving in your car, you're dressed how she's dressed, you look the way she looks. They instantly think that she's Somali. They don't even bother to go, hey, you know, talk to her for a second or check her papers or check her ID, showing proof positive. It's not like she has some heavy accent that she just came here illegally. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, she's definitely rambling. I mean, I definitely would be extremely terrified if you're not somebody who's used to being on camera. If you're, you know, you don't expect to be thrust into the spotlight like this, and being a victim of something so terrible. You know, if you're not used to public speaking, you're gonna sound all over the place. You know, the nerves are very much there. You know, but yeah, this is you know, again, you know, I appreciate them bringing this up and talking about it, and she should get the justice that she rightfully deserves. That's what I truly think. She most definitely deserves the justice that she rightfully deserves, and hopefully she will get that very soon. I don't, you know, it's interesting. I have not yet seen anything about a press conference for the actual shooting that we saw, right? Or that we've been covering so far. I'm kind of waiting for that, but we haven't really seen anything yet. Hopefully there will be one here in the near future. House Democrats talk on, man, there's so much crap going on. Oh my God. Let's see what's going on here.
Some of those House Democrats also speaking out. So in the meantime, we do have yet another live event that has just come into our newsroom. We want to take you out to it right now. This is coming to us live from Portland, Maine, as we're hearing from the city council members and other leaders there in the city on the presence of ICE. Let's listen in.
Damn.
Respect the law. We challenge the need for a paramilitary approach to the enforcement of federal statutes. Federal immigration law is lawful. Its administration and enforcement is lawful. While we may dispute the basis for those laws as individual citizens, the fact remains, it is federal law. What we've been concerned with as a council is the enforcement tactics that ICE has undertaken in other communities, which to our mind appear to threaten and intimidate populations. If they change the way they do their business, then we can focus on doing our responsibility as citizens and changing policy through our elected officials. So this council doesn't stand apart from our immigrant communities, but we stand with them. As a reminder, the Portland Police Department does not involve itself in the enforcement of civil administrative violations under federal immigration statute. As police officers, if there is a call for support having to do with imminent threat to life or serious bodily injury, no matter who the agency or individual is, we will respond as we would to any one of you calling 911. That is our duty in terms of public safety. I'll interrupt for a moment. Councilor Fournier, you can join us up here. Community, and that has come in the form of text or phone calls or shared videos. So we know they're there. I will remind the public, allow officers to do their work, do not obstruct. The best thing you can do is to be the best possible witness should the facts that come before you are needed by any future investigation or judicial inquiry. All right, if officers are acting with warrant, they are within the law. And this is not the place or the time to challenge that. I want everyone safe. Interrupting law enforcement action is a risk of conduct. It may feel appropriate in the moment, but it could lead to outcomes neither party wished upon each other when they began the transaction. So I want to make that clear. I also respect the right to dissent, to protest, to express your misgivings or rejection of current government policy. If all of you decide to do that, our police department has demonstrated an exemplary history in protecting that expression of constitutional right, and we will continue to do so. Before I came out here, someone came in and said, if we did a protest, we'll be safe. And I assured him that the Portland Police Department would do its job, as it always has, impartially and professionally. The other concern we had about ICE arriving, and I put it this way as a former member of law enforcement, what Mayor Shalene and I expect is that federal agencies and their agents will conduct themselves in a professional manner, respect the rule of law, and treat our citizens without the use of provocation. Exercise the restraint.
All right, as you see, they're listening in to those officials in Portland, Maine,
Interesting.
addressing some of the ICE operations that are happening.
Not
Play
surprised,
out the
though.
remainder of those remarks for you, but right now, stepping up to the microphone, we have to head back to Capitol Hill as we're hearing from Representative Comer speaking after there he was holding that meetings on holding the Clintons in contempt. Let's listen in.
Oh boy, here we go.
Files it's supposed to? It's my understanding the Attorney General is going to turn over all the documents once they're redacted. Now, we have seen the Attorney General comply with our subpoena. They have turned over documents, as I said numerous times today, and I've said numerous times on most of the networks that are here today. We would like for the pace to pick up. We want to get the documents. We're not going to let her off the hook, but from a legal standpoint, she is complying with the law, and we expect to get the documents very soon.
In addition to your subpoena, though, are you concerned that she has not complied with?
No, with our subpoena, with my subpoena, she's complied. She's turning over documents again.
But also the Epstein files.
Well, the Epstein Files Transparency Act is a Judiciary Committee thing. They put a date on it. She's going to be in front of the Judiciary Committee in 2 weeks, and I think that's the important thing with what the Democrats were trying to say today about Bondi. And look, no one on our side defended Bondi. Let me be very clear. No one on our side defended Bondi. But we have to recognize there are a lot of documents. They produced documents, I think, on two different document drops. The first one, the Democrats complained there were not enough redactions. In the second drop, they complained there were too many redactions. So, ever how many pages, we've heard numbers range from several 100,000 to several million pages of document. That's a lot of eyes that are going to have to be over it and review it to try to make the redactions, because the victims have made it clear to us that they want anything pertaining to their privacy redacted. And that's the impression I'm under that the Department of Justice is trying to do.
Mr. Chairman, is it important? Is there still an opportunity for the Clintons to negotiate some sort of satisfaction of the subpoena, even though you've taken this step with contempt?
There's always an opportunity. It's going to be 2 weeks before this is on the floor. We're going to have to notice this is going to be treated like any other bill. We're making sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed, because they have a very expensive legal team. So obviously there are going to be a couple of more days this week, depending on the weather. Then there'll be 3 days notice. and then we can vote on it. I've been assured we're going to vote on it. So that's 2 weeks because we're going to be off a week. They're going to have 2 weeks that they're going to theoretically be able to negotiate. But one thing that I want to make very clear, a lot of what the Democrats were saying today, and I'm not accusing the Democrats on the committee of lying. I'm accusing the lawyers for the Clintons of not being truthful. They were not in good faith negotiating. They never made a proposal where there would be an actual transcript. And I don't think anyone in the media would accept any type of interview without a transcript. Then you're going to have notes, and it's going to be Clinton's word against my word, Garcia's word against my word. That's no good. You know, there should be a recorded, at the very least, transcript, if not audio and video. I would argue all three of the deposition. That is the law. That is what is considered legal in court. And I don't think anyone in the media would argue against that. So, yes.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. What specific steps will oversight Republicans take to ensure that the Clintons are not treated differently than others who have been held in contempt of Congress, like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro?
Well, the process will be once it goes on the full House floor, and I expect a lot of Democrats to vote on this on the floor. And then it'll be delivered to the Department of Justice, and I think that question then can be asked to the Attorney General.
Mr. Chairman, the argument from the Clintons was that they had provided sworn declarations when they received the subpoena and were asked to testify. They argue that other folks who were asked to testify, you accepted the sworn declarations, but you wouldn't accept it as feasible for them. Why weren't the sworn declarations enough for the Clintons? Because the people that we accepted the sworn depositions from, they replied that they had no relationship and they weren't directly involved in the Epstein investigation. There are no pictures of Merrick Garland or James Comey or Eric Holder who are Democrats, I might add, and Jeff Sessions, who's a Republican. Those were the four that we accepted the declarations from. There's no evidence that anyone's seen, no pictures anyone's seen of them with Epstein or Maxwell, nor is there any evidence that they were directly involved in the investigation. Now, if we find out those declarations are false, then they've committed perjury, and they know that. So they complied with our subpoena. And again, there was no evidence. And remember, let's be very clear here. This all came about from a subcommittee hearing in this room where Democrats made a motion, Summer Lee, to subpoena the Epstein files, and then Scott Perry made an amendment and put all these names on it, and everyone voted for it. That's how the whole Epstein investigation was born in the Oversight Committee, and that's where the names came from. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Everyone besides the Clintons have complied, and 2 Republicans actually sat down for hard-hitting depositions. You can look at the transcript with Barr and Acosta, and the Republicans weren't any less confrontational with their questioning than the Democrats. We are sincere. We want to know the answers. We want to get the truth to the American people. We expect Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice to deliver the documents, and we hope that people are finally held accountable for crimes. And we want to know why did the government drop the ball for the victims, and how can this be prevented in the future? When do you expect Pam Bondi to release those documents? It's been more than a month since the
No
statutory
doubt.
deadline, and there have only been 2 drops of documents. You say you're confident the Attorney General will comply. When do you expect the full documents to be out? And is there a deadline by which you expect her to produce the documents, or else you would pursue something like contempt?
I was hoping the documents would be dropped today, or whatever they've redacted thus far. I would be shocked if some of the documents aren't dropped before her testimony for the Judiciary Committee. You're all going to be there. And that was another argument when the Democrats were coming back with Bondi. She's coming in front of Congress. Now, she's coming from the Judiciary Committee because, among other things, the discharge petition is a judiciary jurisdiction. So if we're not satisfied with testimony from judiciary, I could see a scenario where we ask her to come in front of the oversight. We're serious about getting the documents. This isn't political. Remember, one of the things that I said in this hearing today, one of the first demands from I shouldn't say demands, one of the first requests from the victims when we met privately, Republicans and Democrats, for 2 hours, is subpoena the estate. I did that. I had no idea what was going to be in those documents. It could have been very damaging to Republicans. It could have been very damaging to very important people. I had no idea. We want the truth. No one on my committee said, don't subpoena the estate. We want it. Everyone voted for the discharge petition except one. We want the documents. We want to get answers. We want to hold people accountable, and we're not protecting anyone who committed any crimes.
Given the point you made about the photos and the personal relationship that former President Clinton had with Jeffrey Epstein, should President Trump also be subpoenaed because he had a personal relationship with Epstein?
Well, obviously, President Trump's answered a lot of questions, and I'm looking around the room, and many of you have asked President Trump questions about Epstein, and I'm confident President Trump's going to have to answer, more questions from you all. You're very curious.
Under oath by your committee.
Well, there's never been a sitting president come under oath in an oversight committee hearing, but we'll see what. How this plays out. We want to get the truth. And look, I'll go back to what Bill Barr said, who I don't think anyone would argue is a big fan of President Trump. He said under oath in the deposition that he believed that if there had been anything damaging about Donald Trump in the Epstein files, that it would have been released before the election.
Were you surprised by some of the Democrats who voted for this?
I was not. I've always hopeful that some Democrats would vote for it. Look, when we were in that meeting with the victims, there were some Democrats, and they were the ones that voted in favor of holding the Clintons in contempt. They were sincere about wanting to get the truth, and they were sincere that they didn't care if the victimizers were Democrats. They didn't care who they were. They wanted to provide accountability and get some justice for the victims. So I felt like in my heart there would be Democrat vote for it, and I'm very, very proud of the ones who did. And I might add, more Democrats voted for this than against it.
And what about the concern about setting a bad precedent here of having a former president, regardless
just
of the
Clinton's.
circumstances, regardless of what you think that you need him for, but the idea that goes down a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
When we've had the Supreme Court rule that the current president is immune from any type of prosecution, and you're going to drag a former president in here, conceivably.
Well, look, this was voted on by the Democrats as well in the committee.
But the concern about the precedent.
Well, look, I mean, no one's above the law, Chad, and there are a lot of questions about the numerous visits that Epstein had to the White House when Clinton was president. There are numerous questions about the number of times that President Clinton flew the post-presidency on Epstein's plane. Again, no one's accused Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing, but we have a lot of questions. And to my knowledge, he's never sat down with any of you and answered any questions. So
he's got a point there.
Someday we'll know the truth.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead. Good. I've answered a bunch. Go ahead.
What do you think about Congressman?
Yeah, some people vote president on things. I don't know. I don't even know why that's a thing. I don't think I've ever voted president other than when we do the roll call vote. But, I guess president's better than voting no. I don't. Well, Annie.
Two things. When we were talking about President Trump, you said, we'll see how this plays out in terms of whether he would be involved in this investigation. So are you not ruling out that you might need to talk to President Trump?
We're going to talk to, we're going to talk, look, everything, I've said this publicly many times, there's nothing that I've seen that implicates President Trump. When we met with those victims, I think it's very public, there were several Democrats that made very clear to ask the victims if they ever saw President Trump do anything wrong, and every one of them said no, they never saw. The only thing they said was they knew, one said that they heard Jeffrey Epstein say he was friends with President Trump, which that isn't a lot of evidence of any wrongdoing. So again, I go back to what Bill Barr said, if there had been any evidence of wrongdoing by President Trump, that would come out. But look, as the documents come in and more evidence is revealed, then we'll go from there. No one's above the law, and we're not gonna leave any box unchecked. I'll answer one more question.
Do you think that Bill Clinton's history and Monica Lewinsky that contributed to this vote and why?
I don't know.
But that is well known about him.
Yeah, I don't know. Trying to stay. Look, one of the things that I think it wasn't men. I can't remember. One of the Democrat members said, "Well, the lawyer said you wouldn't agree to have the scope just about the Epstein." That's not true. We've always just cared about the Epstein stuff. And that's what we did in the Biden investigation. We didn't bring Hunter Biden in and ask about the stuff on the laptop other than the money. That's what our investigation was about, influence peddling. We never veered into the salacious stuff on the laptop. And that's the same with this. We're not going to go back in history on any sins or wrongdoing that Clinton may have, committed in the past. It's all Epstein related. We want to know what anyone that spent a lot of time with Epstein, what they knew, if they saw anything, if they can help us, point us in a direction. We have no idea how Epstein made his money. We have no idea how he accumulated so much wealth. Remember, his estate's worth $750 million. So there's just so many questions that we have. That's what our question of Bill Clinton would have been about had he complied with the subpoena. I'll answer your question, Ali.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. I wanted to ask about the Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon situation, because there have been some conservatives saying they think it's a double standard. I've heard other legal arguments that the circumstances of those cases is different than the one for the Clintons.
Yeah. Well, look, I guess it goes to whether you believe the January 6th committee was a legitimate committee or not. Some people believe it was a legitimate committee. Some people don't. The reason some don't, and I fall in the category that I don't, is this committee, statutory committee, the Democrats appoint who they want on the committee. I don't say, no, I don't like Jared Moskowitz. He can't be on the committee. If Hakeem Jeffries or whoever's in charge of the Democrat Party, if they want Democrats I don't like on the committee, that's tough.
No
I
way.
got to take what they said. So the January 6th committee, when Kevin McCarthy appointed members of the committee, Nancy Pelosi said, no, I don't like Jim Banks. I don't like Jim Jordan. We're not going to have them on the committee. And that tainted it from the start. But regardless, if you are in the school of thought that it's a legitimate committee, they were issued a subpoena and they didn't comply with the subpoena. So look, I think the law is very clear. When you're issued a congressional subpoena, you need to comply with that subpoena. And the last thing I'll say before I leave, there was a point in debate back and forth with Mr. Garcia and I. If you look at the letter that Bill and Hillary Clinton sent me, one of the things they said when they were attacking me was, this is an unlawful subpoena. I asked Mr. Garcia, do you agree with the Clintons that this is an unlawful subpoena? And he said, no, sir, that's a lawful subpoena. So that right there, I think, hurt the entire argument that the Clintons had. And I think the Clintons probably are thinking more about how they can get out of this today than they were for the last 5 months, because the court of public opinion is not on the Clinton side. And I think that's one reason some of the Democrats, not all, some of the Democrats crossed over. The American people want to hear from anyone and everyone who has any knowledge about Epstein and Maxwell and any potential wrongdoing. And remember, there's also a legislative purpose in this. We want to see if there's anything we can do to pass any type of legislation to further prevent sex trafficking or identify sex traffickers or be able to apprehend sex traffickers any sooner. So we've got a lot going on here, a congressional investigation, try to answer questions for the American people, as well as legislative intent to try to hopefully prevent terrible things like this from happening in the future. Thank you all for keeping up with this, and we'll keep you posted on any further communication or correspondence. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Fascinating.
All right, as
Hold
you
on.
see there, we're waiting to hear some of those remarks as the House panel that has now officially voted to hold the Clintons, to start that process of holding the Clintons in contempt. This is based on the Epstein probe. And so we just saw there, even in the background, you saw Chad Pergram with Fox News. He's been watching the story very closely, but this is the breaking update that we have for you here.
Let's
It
see
was
this. Hold
hosted
on.
by the GOP Oversight there on their X account, saying that House Oversight passes bipartisan resolutions holding Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for defying congressional subpoenas on the Epstein probe. Accountability is here. No one is above the law. The resolutions are now sent to the House. And there are some pretty notable names there on that list as well. Pulling it up a bit bigger on your screen there, you can see from the color-coded combination in the upper right-hand corner, You can see that in the yes column, 34 folks there on that committee did vote in favor of holding the Clintons in contempt. 8 voted in the red for no, and 2 others were in the yellow. And so as you can see there, notable names, Comer, who we just heard from, just making those remarks, as well as Boebert's name is mentioned, Donald's, Nancy Mace, Luna as well, and Langworthy's. Just a few of those on that list. And voting in the red column, you can see Garcia, Norton, Bell, and Brown as well. So we'll continue to keep our eyes on this as this is continuing to develop. I want to put this up on your screen, an image we have there of the Clintons. Of course, we know that
Interesting.
that initial visit where they were supposed to be testifying in front of the committee was scheduled for last month. But right now, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee today advanced those resolutions to hold the former president and the former Secretary of State in contempt of Congress over their refusal to make that appearance for those depositions after being subpoenaed in the panel's investigation. The panel voted 34-8 to advance that resolution holding Bill in contempt, and 28-15 on the measure holding Hillary Clinton in contempt. And so in his opening statement, House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer, who we just heard for once again, said that he expected bipartisan support for enforcing these subpoenas. He later said that he expects the Clintons' contempt resolutions to pass in the House. And so ranking member Robert Garcia, the Democrat from California, and other Democrats also sought to turn the attention back to the Department of Justice. This for its delay in releasing information all related to the Epstein investigation as required by law. And so we just heard some of those questions were being asked there to Representative Comer on the backside, asking how he felt about his relationship with Bondi, as well as how she's handled this investigation, saying that no one is agreeing with how that has been done so far.
So he's going to, and of course, she's going to be doing a congressional hearing very, very soon within the next few weeks, in regards to how she's been handling the Epstein files as well, which is also very fascinating. In fact, I am going to put a poll to see what you guys think about this whole Clinton situation. Let me just type that in really quick. Let's just take a listen to this for 2 seconds.
Testimony from the couple in a closed meeting. Comer claimed that the lawyers would not permit an official transcript of this deposition. The couple, though, has already submitted written testimony as well to the committee. And
Very
this has
easy
been a
one.
conversation that has been ongoing for quite some time. The Clintons have also argued that they had already provided the committee with all the information that they had about about Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, provided sworn statements that they had no knowledge of their criminal activities, and argued that the subpoenas were invalid.
I think it's very interesting. No matter what, this is a very interesting situation. I think that they should be asked questions just like Trump should be asked questions, just like any other person that has any connection with Epstein, period, point blank. There shouldn't be there shouldn't be a question. That's just what I think. All right. It's not only just Clinton. There are other names and there's other people that were involved or that were, very close with Epstein. One of them happens to be Trump as well. Trump's not out of the dark. You see what I'm saying? He's not in the clear in this situation, as they keep saying. They keep saying this phrase over and over and over again on so many, right there, and it's right in front of us. Like this right here, this BS. No one is above the law. They've been saying that on so many different things, like not only just on the Walls Fry situation that's going on in Minnesota, they're even saying it with this too, even with Bill Clinton and all that. But what about Trump? What about all these other people that are Republican, that are on the right, that were friends with Epstein as well? Because Epstein was a businessman. He had friends in many, many different ways in many different places. Not every single friend that he had that was close to him were Democrat. He had Republicans, he had Democrats, he had all kinds of different people. All right. So again, that should apply to every single person that has been in connection with Epstein in some sort of way. Just saying. Right? So that phrase right here, absolutely. No one is above the law at all. Okay? It's ridiculous for us to think that it's only going to be on the Clintons. But, I do think that if they're refusing to show up to a hearing, they're in a world of trouble, guys. Straight up, they should be getting exactly what's about to be handed to them. They need to be answering those questions, but it shouldn't only be the Clintons. That's what I'm trying to say. Everybody should be asked or should be interrogated. Everybody should be questioned. That's just what I truly think. Because you never know. All these situations, all these guys may be friends, okay? Might be friends with this, that, and the third, might be chummy with a few people, but that doesn't mean that they were up to no good. But then there's people out there that were chummy with Epstein that were up to no good too. So those questions should be asked. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just in my personal opinion. All right. We do have some breaking news, though, that I want to share with you guys. And this has to do with ICE. And also it has to do with Nicki Minaj. It's two separate things. It's not one in the same. Two different things. First things first, we need to get into this because ICE, like I said, is going to be showing up at a theater near you. Now we have a new place that ICE is showing up. ICE is in Maine right now, guys. And they're targeting Somalis in Maine now. Not Minnesota, Maine. Yeah, this is breaking news right now as we speak. Trump is unleashing ICE on Somalis in Maine. Now they're going door to door and obtaining everybody. Damn right, Nicole B. I called this. I told you it was coming to a theater near you. Minnesota was not the only spot that they're going to be hitting places up. Now they're in Maine, y'all. So expect demonstrations showing up in Maine. Okay? We already got demonstrations going on in the state of Minnesota. We already have demonstrations going on in Oregon. Now you got, of course, we're definitely going to be seeing something in California soon enough. So now they're in Maine. And they're targeting Somalis in Maine. Take a look at this. Breaking news, guys. Breaking news. So Donald Trump has ordered ICE agents to begin rounding up Somali migrants in Maine as part of the administration's latest immigration crackdown. So the DHS announced Wednesday today that federal agents had launched Operation Catch of the Day in Maine. What? What are they, fish? What are they, a restaurant? Like, what are they, a fishmonger? What the hell's this? Catch of the Day in Maine? ICE agents have begun roaming across the cities of Portland and Lewiston, detaining undocumented Somali migrants. Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin announced that agents had arrested multiple individuals on the first day of the operation. Locals in Maine's two biggest cities are warning residents that ICE will begin ramping up its enforcement operations in the next few days. Meanwhile, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Maine warns citizens against impeding ICE agents from carrying out their operation. This is what they said. Anyone who forcibly assaults or impedes on federal law enforcement officers, willfully destroys government property, or unlawfully obstructs federal law enforcement activity commits a federal crime and will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This is what Andrew Benson, the U.S. attorney, said in the state. Or, this is what he said, and he's the U.S. attorney in the state. Maine received thousands of asylum refugees from African countries under the Biden administration. A sizable Somali population has existed in the state since the early 2000s. The immigration surge comes as thousands of ICE agents face consistent opposition from protesters in Minneapolis, which we already know, following the fatal shooting of Renee Good. So now you got Maine, guys. So now they're in the East Coast. Just so you guys know. How is Maine going to handle this? That's the question I have for all of you. But that is breaking news right now. ICE is officially left, and now they have left, or they're still in Minnesota, but now they have deployed agents in Maine. So you got Oregon, you got California, you got Minnesota, and now you got Maine. From my understanding, they're also in Missouri as well. Yeah. So again, very interesting. Missouri, Minnesota, Maine, Portland, California, Oregon, California. Like I said, it's coming to a theater near you very soon. And Oklahoma, hamburger. All I'm saying is it's out here. Okay? They're out here. And they're targeting Somalis. So there's that, guys. So if you're in the Maine area, keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you're driving. Keep your hands on 10 and 2. Okay? Don't do anything crazy. Don't drive. Don't be riding around dirty out here with with old tags or expired tags on your ride. Okay? Abide by the law. Don't do anything crazy out here. Okay? Drive carefully. Especially those who are driving while brown and black. Keep your papers on you. Because this is really a real thing. They're now in Maine. So get ready for now new live streams coming out and coverage going out in Maine. Because obviously the main focus right now is Minnesota or Minneapolis, but there's still things going on in Portland. There's still things going on now in LA. Soon enough, there's going to be live streams coming out of Maine covering what's going on with these door-to-door raids that are going on right now in Maine, getting as many Somalis as they can. So get ready for that, because that is breaking news. That just broke just now. Okay? Now, I do want to share this also. This is absolutely insane. But this has to do with Nicki Minaj. Now, remember, Nicki Minaj has been out here, okay? She went and did a TPUSA interview, which was absolutely insane. She's sitting there going like, F these migrants, F these illegals, et cetera, blah, 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 right? She goes off on Don Lemon, calling him a sea sucker, using homophobic slurs and whatnot, right? And of course, Don Lemon's like, you're the one that's, you're the one to talk, right? Because, of course, there's been a lot of things that have been said about Nicki Minaj as of late. One of them, there was a huge petition out here trying to get her deported. What's very interesting about this is that she now has come out and said, yeah, I came here illegally when I was 5 years old. Who does that? So instead, she's like, yeah, I was an illegal. But she's also out here trying to, say, get all the illegals out here. They're all terrible. But she used to be one. Ain't that crazy? So now let's just go to the article. All right. So she says, sure, I came here illegally. Now I'm all in for Trump. Say that again. What? Okay, girl. She definitely not right in the head. Okay, she's not right. I'm just gonna say it. I know some of y'all are still holding it down. You barbs that are out there being like, you know what I mean? Don't you dare say anything about my Nicki Minaj. Okay. But she has apparently done a complete 180 flip on her immigration stance, according to a recently dug up Facebook post from Donald Trump's first term in office. So, as you know, Nikki has been very vocal in her support of the Trump administration. Lately, she praised Trump despite his anti-immigration agenda. And I don't even know what that word is. Denigrated. Sorry. Oh, my Lord. Brain fart, guys. And denigrated Don Lemon for covering the ICE protest in that particular Minnesota church that we saw. Okay. So, but in 2018, she wrote, I came to this country as an illegal immigrant at 5 years old. I can't imagine the horror of being in a strange place and having my parents stripped away from me at the age of 5. This is so scary to me. Please stop this. Can you try to imagine the terror and panic these kids feel right now? This post is accompanied by a photo of kids on mats, some covered up with space blankets, in a large chain link fenced in cage. Remember this from the first term? Those photos, right? That post was a far cry from her feelings today when she responded positively on the clip of Katie Miller. This is the White House Homeland Security Advisor's wife, Dr. Evil, as Katie promoted the SAVE Act, a bill meant to prevent illegal aliens from voting and engaging in our democracy. So here it is. The SAVE Act this is Katie Miller. The SAVE Act is critical to our national security and democracy, because what Joe Biden did is he let in 10 million people in 4 years. Then they gave them work permits. They gave them driver's licenses. And then you don't even need to check those driver's licenses when you go and vote. And so now you have an additional 10 million people in this country, in addition to the 20 to 30 million other illegal aliens, not knowing if they're voting and engaging in our democracy. And then she put up Katie and, American flag and a bow emoji, right? In a TikTok live, Nikki said, I was born on a beautiful island called Trinidad and Tobago, but I've been in the States for many years. You would think that with the millions of dollars that I've paid in taxes to this country, that I would have been given an honorary citizenship many, many thousands of years ago. Uh-oh. Seems nuts. But then again, Don has insinuated that perhaps Nikki's profound MAGA obsession is just a front in an effort to not get deported, or possibly to secure some sort of pardon from her alleged SO husband, Kenneth Petty, or her brother. Let's not forget her brother, too, who's currently incarcerated in New York, for disturbing things, being a PDF. While on 2012's Mercy, she rapped she was a Republican voting for Mitt Romney. It looks like she was actually a non-citizen, not allowed to vote for anyone. And of course, they reached out to her, but they haven't heard anything back. But it's weird, right? Now, I feel like you could be politically fluid. Okay, I can see that. I can see people being politically fluid. It just depends on the time. You know what I mean? In fact, that's kind of what I think too. You find the presidential candidate that works for you. And it doesn't mean that they always have to land in MAGA or land in conservative or land in liberal, right? So when it comes to her being like, oh yeah, I'm a Republican. Well, maybe she was a Republican at that time because she liked Mitt Romney, right? But then later on, she wasn't a fan of Trump when he was in his first term. She wasn't a fan. She even said it out loud on this countless videos of her saying things out loud about not liking Trump in his first term. But now that things are getting, the crackdowns are happening right now. You got ICE showing up in every single state right now across the country. I can see her changing her ways very quickly just so that she doesn't get in trouble, right? The attention on her is looked in a way of, oh, she's praising Trump, right? That kind of heat, rather than people who don't like her because of, say, she was speaking out about Trump. They'd all figured out that she was not legal. And then Trump would be very quick to get a prominent voice like herself, like a prominent artist like herself, kicked out of the country. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of this, yeah, I agree with what Don Lemon said here, that it's a multi-layered thing. She doesn't want to get deported. And of course, she doesn't want to, maybe she's trying to get a hookup for her husband or her brother, right? But we'll see. But that's crazy that this old stuff is coming back. And it's like, yeah, she should be deported if she's still an illegal, right? Pretty insane, though, if you think about it. But we'll see about that. Let's get some of these super chats. Crisis, thank you so much. We need revolutionary war against all cops. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think all cops. I don't think that. We need them. We need them in these streets. Not the bad ones, of course, but we need them. You know? I don't think we need violence right now. I think we need to find some way of doing peaceful protests and figuring out what we can do to change what we're seeing right now. But I don't think violence is the answer. I think violence only begets more violence. That's just my thoughts. Jocelyn, thank you so much. Crazy how people think a car isn't a deadly weapon. Oh, it most definitely is. It most definitely is if it's used as such. But if it's somebody who is, not using it as a deadly weapon, then it's not a deadly weapon. But again, like I said, as far as this thing that happened with this guy out in LA, we don't know the full scope of the story. We're only hearing from DHS and what they've said. There's no body cams on these agents so they can say whatever the hell they want. And that concerns me. I don't know about y'all. Moving on. General Genobi, what's up? Thank you so much for the love. Crimes in America today is not being a bigot and not being cruel to others. You are the enemy if you do. I think, the crime is today. The crime is America today is not being a bigot and not being cruel to others. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, if I'm reading this correctly, I think, yeah, I think that we live in a time where we need to be better to each other, right? We need to be nicer to each other, more open-minded, less the FAFO type stuff, that's just me. But, we got bullies in our White House, That's basically what it is, and that's the vibe that we have out here in these streets, right? That's just what I'm seeing right now. Limit or LMT, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. And just like LMT, please consider becoming a member by hitting that join button down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Jocelyn, you gave 2, so I'm going to look at these. Thank you so much for the super chats. Since ice all over New Jersey. Seen ice all over New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Seen many times for weeks. Interesting. I mean, they are out there. They're out there. They're all over the place. All I'm saying is that clearly there's going to be an uptick. There's going to be a bump, right? Of a surge of these ICE agents suddenly just everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you're going to see them in other places, but now you're going to see them like it's going to start thickening up the presence of ICE in these particular places. Like Maine, I'm sure ICE agents have been out there doing their thing, but now you're seeing more of them showing up, which is bad. Again, thank you again. I saw those Obama cages in 2014. People piled in them. Yes, we did see them at that time too. And then we saw them during Trump's administration as well. Michelle Woods, thank you so much for the love. Hypocrites will always be hypocrites. That's facts. That's a GOP way. That is facts. They can lecture everyone, but can't live by what they say. That is facts, y'all. That is hard facts. It's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate. We've been seeing that countless times. Oh, we're not here to do this, that, and the third. We're not here to run a country. And then a year later, we're going to run the country. That's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? We see it all the time. It's not only just Trump. It's other politicians that do that all the time, right? No new taxes. Then brand new taxes come out, right? We've seen it a million times, right? I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And he most definitely did with a cigar and a whole lot of, she was a devil in the blue dress. Yeah. So there's plenty of things that these politicians be out here saying right in front of us, right? And then they're doing the complete opposite behind closed doors. Or they're caught on a mic, not only just a hot mic, they're literally talking on the mic, doing something completely different from what they said, right? We will not start any new wars. And then suddenly we got a new war, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, like what Michelle Woods just said, you know, it's a tale as old as time. It's a tale as old as time, guys. We're used to it. We're used to it. Okay. We're used to it. We should be consistently being like, oh, yay. Like, you know, you vote in your favorite guy, right? Let's just say that. And you're just like, yeah, you're wearing his hat and everything. You're wearing his T-shirt. You're full on just fanboying out, right? Or fangirling out for the ladies too, right? You should be thinking in your head, he's going to disappoint me at some point. That's it. Sorry. You voted him in, but you know, like I said, you can be like, okay, I better get ready for him to lie straight to my face. But I'm very excited. I'm very happy he's in there and not this other guy. Woo! But he would have lied. Both of them are going to lie to me. Get used to it. Get ready for it. Because this is what happens every single president that we've ever had. We don't have a full, transparent, and honest president. We've never had one. Never. Okay? Come on. I'm going to make things, I'm going to change things. And then he's up there, Biden, and he doesn't even know what he's even reading. He doesn't even know what he's saying. He's not mentally, you know, he's not having a mental decline. And then he's really having a mental decline. And we're seeing it in real time. And what happened? They're lying to our face even on that. Sure, Sleepy Joe. Sure, he was, you know, boring. But here's the thing. That was a good thing to me, to a certain extent. The economy was still trash. The economy was doing terrible. That's another conversation in itself. But the only thing that they were lying to us about is, I mean, you were lying to us about a lot of stuff. What am I saying? But you get what I'm saying, all right? They were hiding the fact that he was already gone mentally. They were lying to us then. And we're all like, yay, Biden, yay. Well, he went in, and we should all think, oh, well, he's going to lie to me at some point. Yeah, it's like, don't believe your eyes. Don't believe the hype. You know? Same thing with Obama, same thing with Clinton, same thing with Reagan, same thing with Nixon, same thing with Carter, same thing with any of them. They all lie. All of them. Doesn't matter what you think. They all mother-loving lie. So, get used to it. Get used to it. All these politicians do. They want to sound good. They want to have really good sound bites. They want to gesticulate in a political, very diplomatic and political way. Right? They all say they want to make some changes in the world. Nothing changes. It's just more BS and more lies. And I feel bad for those that are like, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. You know, they really do think like the world could really change if they just got into the system. And then they get into the system, and then they actually see the reality of how the system works, and it's disheartening. And then they realize, dang, all of them are actors. Wow, all y'all are actors. Damn. So it's like that, though. Okay. All right, then. So I can't do a damn thing? Really? I can't do a damn thing. Okay. So all the things I promised, hopefully my followers forget about it. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, everybody remembers, you know? Well, what about this? You promised this. You promised us this. And it's like, well, and then you're trying to do as much as you can. And you're hoping that by doing this with your hand, while talking, gesticulating with this hand gesture, they're going to take you seriously. As soon as you do this, they're like, oh, he means what he says. He means what he says. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to our world. Welcome to our world. We live in a wild-ass world. So here it is, guys. I got to hop off here, okay? I got things I got to do, but here's the thing, all right? I'm going to keep an eye on all this stuff. There's a lot that's going on. House is still, they're still voting on whether or not they're going to hold former President Bill Clinton and wifey Hillary Clinton in contempt for not showing up for their hearing, which is wild, okay? It's gonna happen. They're gonna be held in contempt. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. That's already gonna happen. We're still waiting for a press conference for the pew-pewing that happened in LA. Hopefully we hear about that very, very soon. When that all goes down, I'll be back to talk to you guys about that and then some. Okay, but that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Please do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow on all those platforms. Hit that subscribe button here on my main YouTube channel. Check it out. Subscribe. Make sure you've done that. All right. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support this channel. I got 2 different memberships. Go check it out. All right. Support if you can. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Check out my Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. We may be back on sooner than you think. Stay tuned. Talk to you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.